normally nothing. Usually when there's this many moving parts, runs exactly on time. That being said, there are a lot of dynamics at play for the president, his team, and the people that they want to speak with before the president steps out on stage. So you have to imagine a lot of those conversations are going to be happening this afternoon, too.
Our senior White House correspondent, Kayla Tausche, at the NATO summit here in Washington. Thank you very much. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Jonathan Jackson of Illinois. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. As you know, and I'm sure anticipate, the president will be facing a major test later today at this 6:30 p.m. news conference. How important is it that he delivers a very strong performance?
Well, on this, oh my God, I almost said it was Wednesday. It's Thursday. It is Thursday. The weekend starts tomorrow. 314-436-7900 is our number. The voicemail line, a little bit different, 944-1120. You can send us a voicemail anytime you like. We're on social media at Chris Amy KMOX. And if you're looking at us on Twitter, you can actually look at us. We are streaming live. We've got video. We've got it on YouTube and Facebook. And you got to get that free Odyssey app. It's really good, and you can listen to the station wherever you go, and that includes Cardinals baseball. It's AUDACY.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everybody will be talking about.
On the show today, we'll be discussing recent happenings downtown St. Louis, including some crime that occurred right around the 4th of July. Mayor Tashara Jones will be with us later in the show. Kara Spencer, who is an alderwoman for a part of St. Louis City, will also join us in studio. She, by the way, is running for mayor.
And prices fell in June for the first time since the start of the pandemic. Could there be a rate cut coming?
It is an off day for the Cardinals, but they dropped 2 in a doubleheader yesterday against the Kansas City Royals. So, of all teams, you don't want to see them lose to Kansas City. And the Royals are having a pretty good year for the Royals.
Well, right. It's adorable that they're trying to do so well.
It really is.
I know. They had a rough year last year.
Remember when they won a whole World Series?
That was very cute.
Wasn't it?
I felt happy for them. It was adorable, honestly.
Sure. I don't think we should be talking like this.
I know. Listen, guys, it's been a rough couple of years. Now, here, the Cardinals were they? 4 games back going into the doubleheader yesterday, with the potential, if the Brewers had lost and if the Cardinals had won both games, they could have been within 2.5 of the Brewers. It didn't happen.
Yeah,
they're 5.5 back.
Yeah, they're 5.5 back, which is kind of where they've been. They're fluctuating between 5 and 7. That's kind of where they are. But if all you care about is getting into the playoffs, they are still in good position there. They are a game and a half in front of the first wild card team out. So the Cardinals are the second wild card behind the Braves. The Padres are the third wild card, and somehow the Mets are right there. They're a half game back. So as it stands right now, it's meaningful baseball in the middle of the season, but here's the goal. Well, actually, the goal is to get to the playoffs and make a whole lot of noise, win a pennant, and hopefully go to a World Series. That should always be the goal, and knowing that it's not realistic to do it every single year. But otherwise, the goal is to be playing games that matter late in September. So here we are approaching the middle of July. They're doing okay. I mean, they're in good position right now. I hope that the good play that we've seen over the last couple of months continues, because they have been playing pretty good baseball. But, you wonder about what happens when you get into August and relievers get tired. And if they're not getting enough innings from starting pitching, what happens to them then? Do they start to wear down a little bit? Does that momentum they've had for a couple of months, does it start to slow? I mean, I'm concerned about that. That's a thing that I worry about as we get into September. But as long as this team that I did not expect a whole lot from going in, if they are playing games that matter late in September, I'm not going to say that that'll be good enough. But what I will say is I will at least be happy that that's where they are, that the games in the last couple of weeks of the season mean something.
Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. I have talked extensively how just the Cardinals being over 500 has really changed the whole vibe of listening to ball games, watching ball games, because you feel like you're actually chasing postseason rather than just trying to dig yourself out of a hole. The Mason Jar, the Jar family, we did go to the ball game yesterday. And I will say, when you are sitting in the studio talking about Cardinals baseball, what trades might or might not happen, buyers, sellers, how are the Cardinals going to catch the Brewers? If you're on Cardinals Twitter, right, you can be critical of the team or Ali Marmol, what's going on. When you just get to the ball game and you see families like dads, teaching daughters or sons like how to keep score on the old scorecard, or little kids with ice cream and wearing their Cardinals jerseys and just being in baseball heaven. It was so much fun. I know it's fun going to the ball game, but every time I go, all the chatter that we talk about, like getting into the weeds, that kind of fades away. It's still a fun experience.
Well, it's
I
an
love
event.
it.
It's better than as much as I enjoy the Battlehawks thing, and as much as City Park has been a whole lot of fun, it is fun going to a soccer game. It's just Cardinals baseball is different, and most of it has to do with the fact that it's just so ingrained in this area that you grow up and you are, you probably have your first Cardinal shirt when you're 6 months old. It's kind of like that, right? So going to the game, experiencing that, there's something about being at the ballpark that's great. But that doesn't mean that's all that matters.
No, it's not.
It's an event and it is an activity, and you still kind of have to be a good team for people to want to pay to watch. And to come to the ballpark, and I'm driving from wherever I'm driving, paying for parking. Going to invest 3-4 hours total, like drive time and everything else to be there. I want the team to be good.
Oh no, I mean, obviously you want the team to be good. I guess I was saying, if you are that fan who is extremely online or very, very critical, like, when was the last time you just went to the game and enjoyed it as an event? Like, take a breath of fresh air. And last night was also the night, Whitey Herzog night. The Cardinals and the Royals honored Whitey Herzog, so a lot of the Red Jackets were there. Ozzie Smith gave a speech. That was a lot of fun.
We talked to Ozzie yesterday.
Yep. I do have a quick question. A foul ball was hit. We were on the third base line, like closer to the outfield than third base, but kind of halfway. So right in prime foul ball territory. A sky-high foul ball comes in our direction and drops right above Mason Jar's head. He reaches up and it hits his fingers, and he's grabbing the ball, right? Because he's caught it now with his bare hand, when a glove from behind him envelops his hand and whoosh, whips the ball out of his fingers and catches the ball. And we turn around, and it's a 50-year-old man with a glove. And everyone's like, oh, great catch. And Mason Jar was like, oh, man, I had it in my hand. How do you feel about adults with gloves?
Sounds like Mason should have brought a glove. If he had had a glove at the game.
And I'm asking you this because you have brought this up.
I've never brought this up. I think Mason...
You dirty rat.
Your fiance failed because what he should have had is a glove. And he should have been prepared for that moment.
Well, that's what he said. He leaned over and goes, I'll never be good enough.
You never know when you're going to have the opportunity at a foul ball. So you got to be ready.
Yeah.
You have to be ready all the time. It's like a fire department.
Matt, what is going on?
Hold on. Do you know how a fire department is always just kind of ready? You never know when the fire's coming.
You're like filibustering here. You
What
can't
are you talking
filibuster. Matt.
What are you talking about?
Matt, what is Ronj actually thinking?
I don't know. I think he's covering up something.
What?
I think he's insecure about something.
What? I'm just saying that he should have been prepared with a glove.
Chris Ronji brings a glove every day to a game.
I actually, when I'm at the ballpark, I judge people who don't bring gloves.
314-436-7900. Should adults wear gloves to the game or not?
944-1120 if you want to drop a voicemail.
Otherwise, call or text 314-436-7900. Ronj has strong opinions, and as you may be assuming, it's not the one that he shared.
What are you talking about?
It's not the opinion that he shared.
If a foul ball...
Who are you afraid of?
If being at the game matters to you and getting a foul ball matters to you, you should...
Does it help that this guy was a Royals fan? He was wearing a Royals jersey. Can you speak more honestly now?
Does it help?
Yeah.
Well,
Who are you afraid of?
afraid? No, what I'm saying is,
Do you have a lady friend who brings a glove to the game?
This man
Oh,
who
that's
drove
what it
all
is.
the way from Kansas City.
Yeah.
He drove 4+ hours or
Yeah.
however long it takes. I don't go to Kansas City, so I don't know. But he drove 4
It
hours.
doesn't take 4 hours.
What does it take?
3.5 at most.
Seems like 4. So he drove 3.5 to 4 hours. And he's thinking, I'm going to be prepared because there's a good chance at this stadium I can catch foul ball. I'm not going to lose it. I'm not going to drive 3.5 hours back home
Yeah.
and have to tell people that I almost caught a foul ball.
Yeah.
He
Interesting.
doesn't want to be that jerk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of my story. We had a good time at the ball game.
I'm glad you had a
That
fun
was
time.
that's the point.
Listen, let us know if it's okay to bring your glove to the ball game if you're an adult man.
Speaking of adult men who like to go to the ball game and eat ice cream, a lot of top Democrats are asking Joe Biden to step down. We will talk about that later as well.
314-436-7900. Matt Pauley joins us to talk Cardinals. We've got Mayor Jones, Alderwoman Spencer. Major Garrett will be with us at the bottom of the hour as well. A fun show for you today here on KMOX.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Cardinal Cowboy here. When it comes to garage door installation, service, and repairs, Renner does that. LiftMaster openers, Renner does that. RENNER forward and back. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
I get asked a lot where your thermostat setting should be at in this kind of heat. My answer is wherever you want to set it for your comfort level. It's your comfort, it's your house, it's your money, so put it where you like it. And the other answer to that is wherever she says she wants it at. See, that's an easy one there. So I just wanted to clear that up. And any issues with your air conditioner, need me to come out, prices, need a new one, need one repaired, fixed, call me, Bart Inman. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The only number to call, 314-293-2600. The easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it's bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Selects Premium Package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge.
Oh, you people are wonderful.
Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee.
I hear better than I ever thought possible.
Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special, only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. In Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m.
Local insights, breaking news. KMOX, the news station dedicated to St. Louis and the region. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold.
You know how they've got that emergency goaltender, the person who sits in the crowd, and then whenever they need somebody, like he's an accountant, and then he has to come in and finish the game?
Yeah.
If you bring your glove to the ballpark, you never know. They might call on you.
Well, right,
Never
because
know.
you run out, your bullpen's worn out, so you go to the shortstop,
Right.
and then the shortstop pitches a few, maybe the second
Right.
baseman,
He gets hurt.
and then it goes to the top glove holding season ticket holder.
That's actually correct.
That's in the official MLB handbook.
Well, we had the discussion about bringing your glove to the ballpark
As an adult.
as a grown-ass man
That's right.
or woman.
And Ranj feels very strongly about it, and obviously he is afraid of someone.
All I'm saying is that if you don't bring your glove to the ballpark,
Why are you even
whoever
there?
you are,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's like you don't care about the game.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Joseph, who's in St. Louis with us on KMOX. What's up, Joseph?
It's a great idea. I always, if I do catch one, I will give it to my grandchildren who usually come to the game with us, or if they're not with us, to the nearest, young child close by.
Yeah.
It kind of makes their day. Plus, more importantly, I can't injure my pickleball hand
Yeah.
if I don't have a glove on.
See?
But see, here's the thing.
Joseph gets it.
Mason Jar was going to catch the ball because he had his 11-year-old son with him. And then the 55-year-old man with the glove caught the ball and saw the disappointment on the 11-year-old's face.
I don't know how you feel about that, Joseph. I hear the story, and I think that guy just wanted it more.
Well, it's probably a Democrat-Republican problem.
Well, that's probably his.
Yeah.
And you get to guess who's who.
Oh, that's a great one.
Let's talk to Rick, who's with us in Illinois. Hello, Rick.
Hey, how are you?
Good. What's up?
Hey, I think you should bring a glove to the game anyway, mainly for self-defense. Some of those are really coming through there pretty hot. But at the same time, hey, catch the ball and look around for somebody, boy or girl, and watch your eyes light up when you give it to them, because I don't want it. I'm just bringing the glove for self-defense.
Okay. See?
Well, this guy wanted it. This guy wanted it because
He wanted it and he got it.
he saw the kids in front of him. He was by himself. Good for him, driving from Kansas City, I guess. He was in a Royals jersey. I will say this, with all the expanded netting, the balls don't come in like as ropes anymore.
Because
in
they're
that
all the
area.
way down the first and third
Yeah.
base lines.
It had to go, like we were behind the net still, I think, or on the edge of it. I actually don't remember, but the net was there. It had to come up and over the net.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you get more of the pop-up than you will get
Pop-up.
the screaming line drive.
Yes, which I will say the screaming line drives, those are no joke. That would be intense.
Right. But you don't want to be a loser and have the ball in your hand and then not have it. You know what I mean? You don't want that to happen to
Don't
you.
know what you mean.
Gail is in Ladue, I believe. Hi, Gail.
Hi. So, my thoughts on this, it's my opinion. Been at the ballpark many times. I actually caught 2 foul balls in one game once, long time ago. I have always felt that when the ball's coming, and it's coming specifically really at one particular seat, and somebody's there, and they got their hand on the ball, you leave them alone. You don't try to knock it out of somebody's hand. If that ball's coming down right where they're sitting, you leave them alone. So
You
the
get
guy
it.
reaching
Yeah.
over with his glove and then grabbing the ball away, to me, my opinion, that's wrong.
Well, Gail, you would never make my football team
Gail,
because
you
every
would make
ball,
my football team.
Every ball is a live ball until
Well,
it's.
at least I'll make it one team.
Yeah, Gail doesn't
Well,
want to be on your team anyway, Ron.
yes, she does.
No, she likes.
Gail's going to
she's-
rethink her
no,
position.
I like Gail.
If you would be cut first day of practice from my football team,
darn.
Gail. Yeah.
And I would be
Yeah.
right there, Gail, with a jersey saying, "Welcome aboard."
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gail. This did happen to me when I was a child. I remember it. We were sitting on the first base line, maybe right field out that way. And I remember the ball, it was a foul ball, kind of was bouncing around the stairs. And I was near the stairs and I had my hand on it. And I was holding it. I don't know how old, like 8 or 9.
Oh.
And a grown woman ripped it out of my hand.
No.
And then I remember her jumping up and down after she got it. And I don't remember what happened after that, if anybody yelled at her, but she definitely didn't give it to me.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. But then I realized that I have no use for humankind.
See, and I was going to say, that's when you became a
Salty.
misanthrope. Yes,
Yeah.
because at that age, folks, this guy, he loved the world. He dressed as a Christmas tree for Halloween.
I did. I sure
because
did.
he loved Christmas so much.
did.
And he loved humanity. And this woman
Yeah, she ripped that
turned
from me.
him into the mankind-hating communist that you hear every day right now.
Yeah, and it's all her fault. As a Cardinals fan, did that to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why I from that moment on, I vowed that I will never show up to the ballpark without my glove. By the way,
That's interesting.
last time, so we got to ask this question too, and we want you to think about it and leave us a voicemail at 314-944-1120. At what age do you have to stop wearing a full uniform to the game? Because the last time I was there about a week and a half ago, I did see a man
Oh,
probably in his 60s, late 50s.
you're shamey today.
What are you talking? I didn't shame. I'm asking the question.
You're just asking questions?
I'm just asking questions. I didn't say it was wrong.
Okay.
Let me know what you think. Let us know. 314-944-1120.
So yesterday, as we have been discussing, I went to the ball game and I was at Busch Stadium. And as I was squinting at all the different signs, there are a lot of signs and a lot of numbers. It's hard. Like, where can you see how fast the pitch was? Where's the score? Who's in the outfield? I'm really glad that I see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. You know them as the doctors. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brasati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry. They have helped me with my eye care, not just making sure that my eyes are healthy, which can also let you know if you are healthy, diabetes, high blood pressure. Your eyes can show you all of that, but also just making sure that my vision is crystal clear, because you want good vision to have high quality of life and enjoy things like going to the baseball game without wondering, wait, who am I looking at here? What does that number say? Give them a call today, 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or youridoc.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank. We proudly recognize the Lime Child and Family Center as a building community partner. The center provides high-quality early education and support for families regardless of their financial situation or a child's development level. Busey is proud to support programs that address all areas of child development with a special emphasis on the social-emotional skills necessary for future success. Learn more at limechildandfamily.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. The Lime Child and Family Center has been building community in South County for close to 50 years. In that time, need led to growth. Licensed today for 121 children, the center also offers parents resources, referrals, and support so they can provide more stable homes. We at Busey know strong families mean strong communities. Join us. Get involved. Help your neighbors as we continue building the communities we call home.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
At 10:30, sun and 79 downtown at the Arch. 2 weeks after his dismal debate, President Biden today holds a rare solo news conference, says CBS's Nancy Cordes.
Late yesterday, Vermont's Peter Welch became the first Democratic senator to call on Biden to withdraw. Regular Vermonters are worried that he can't win this time, he wrote, and they're terrified of another Trump presidency.
We've got road work on 70 going west at Zumbel. That's got the left lane closed. A disabled vehicle on 270 going southbound at 70. That's got the right shoulder closed. All the traffic lanes are open. Weather is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. This afternoon, partly sunny. Could have a thunderstorm in spots. High temperature of 89. Thunder shower in a few places this evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy. Low 70. For tomorrow, sun with a high of 90. Right now, sun 79 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers and important decisions should not be based solely on advertising.
1-800-GOT-JUNK recycles because it conserves our natural resources.
We donate the donatables so they can be loved and used by another family.
Recycling saves us money. The less we take to the landfill, the more we save.
It also saves you money. Spending less on landfills helps keep our prices low.
People love to see a win-win scenario, but we've created a win-win-win-win scenario.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores. Because life is too short for boring radio. Let the excitement begin. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
After the 10:30 news on Thursday mornings, we visit with this gentleman, and we do it every week. It is the Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, author of The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, and two really good podcasts, The Takeout and Agent of Betrayal. Major Garrett is with us this morning on KMOX. Good morning, Major.
Good morning. I'm going to guess that particular Led Zeppelin cut is not an accident.
Oh, does it feel that way? Does it feel like the levee is breaking now with Joe Biden? And I
see what you did there, you masters of metaphor.
Well,
that's our illustrious producer, Matt Pajeski.
Who is raising his arms in confusion.
Yes.
He's saying, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yep, totally.
He's 17 years old, but he does a good job.
Did that on purpose.
Yeah.
We do.
Yes,
we
When
do.
the Levee Breaks. Okay, that's the name of the song, folks, in case you're not following our Led Zeppelin discology here. Yes, When the Levee Breaks. That's the name of that song.
So
and it feels, and I don't want to say that, not only because it's too early to say that, and it's become a cliche, oh, the dam is breaking, but as I reported on CBS Mornings today, a senior member of the House Democratic Caucus told me yesterday more and more members are going to put out statements or give interviews and say President Biden should step aside. 2 more have joined that process today. The number is now up to 11 House Democrats. There may be more in the Senate. I don't know. But it was this senior member of the House Democratic Caucus's point of view that the numbers will increase, the pressure will increase, and that's going to be where the story is heading today, tomorrow, and through the weekend.
And the polling is bad. Today, an ABC poll says 85% of voters believe he is too old for a second term. 85% is a massive number. You've got that. You have the George Clooney op-ed yesterday. You have the reporting that, or at least the feeling out there that Barack Obama may be working behind the scenes and encouraging people to come forward, even though that's not really been established to be absolute truth. You have all these things that are happening now. When do you think anything does break here?
There's a lot that you just laid on the table.
Yeah.
So let me try to take them in some order. First, well, let me go back to front. So you said when can this break? I want everyone to understand, because this is super important to not only following the story, but asking yourself relentlessly, when will I know this story has reached a kind of point of clarity? And let me answer that as I hope succinctly and clearly as can be answered. Members of Congress, meaning members of the House of Representatives, United States Senate, have voices, they have staff, they have orientations to their state or congressional district. You know, the one thing they don't have? A delegate assigned to them. And delegates legally anoint nominees, nobody else. And until there is news reported of a hemorrhage of delegates or a stampede of delegates announcing that they will not support President Biden for renomination, this story is frozen in a place where it is in the president's favor, regardless of what members of Congress in the Senate or the House say. Okay? Delegates matter more than any single member of the Senate or the House. Now, let's say everyone in the House Democratic Caucus says Biden should step aside, and the leadership of the Senate Democrats says Biden should step aside, which would be kind of like a parliamentary vote of no confidence. We don't have a parliamentary system in this country. So again, it would be interesting, but it would not be the leverage point to force Biden out if delegates don't move. Now, if you had that mass number of elected Democrats, House and Senate, saying he should step aside, maybe that would encourage or lead or persuade delegates to break. The thing to keep an eye on is delegates. And it is worth noting that for the last week and a half, the Biden campaign and the Biden White House have been spending much more time calling delegates, like one at a time, and leaders of delegations to nail them down, instead of calling members of Congress or members of the Senate to keep them on the reservation. That's not by accident. That is a tactical response to a political crisis. And they know the heart of the matter rests with delegates. And so they're trying to keep them on the reservation, keep them nailed down. Quickly on George Clooney. Why does George Clooney matter? Yes, he's famous. That's not why he matters. That's sort of interesting, but it's not why he matters. George Clooney doesn't speak for all Democratic donors, but he speaks for some of them. And that op-ed was brutal in the New York Times. Brutal. And George Clooney would not have written it had he not already told Jeffrey Katzenberg, another huge donor, leader, co-chairman of the Biden reelection campaign, major player in Hollywood, that he was going to do it. And he probably wouldn't have published it without some heads up to former President Obama. Clooney would not have done those things if he didn't have a strong sense of conviction that he needed to, and that lots of people in the party either would not assail him and attack him for doing it, but give their sort of tacit, subtle a kind of not approval, but tolerance or acceptance of it. And that suggests where the mindset of big, prominent, visible Democratic donors is at this particular point. Doesn't mean Biden's not going to be the nominee. Go back to what I said about delegates. But it is something approximating an earthquake.
Yeah, and Major, as I look at this situation and you see Joe Biden and his decades-long life of service to his country, there are two Bidens that we all know exist. There's the empathetic, sympathetic figure of Biden that we've seen throughout the years, but we've also seen a stubborn, intransigent Biden throughout the years. And if pressure builds for him to release his delegates and step down, and he does not do that, and he loses to Donald Trump, in my opinion, his legacy will be an catastrophic obstinance when it mattered.
You're not alone. And if you were to crystallize the argument being made to the president, it is precisely that. Are you seriously telling the country and your party that you are the leader of, you're the legitimate leader of, you're the elected president? You've earned the right. No question about that. Yes, you have earned the right to be stubborn if you so choose, but are you seriously going to default to your stubbornness in the face of the risks, and in so doing, jeopardize what you've spent 50 years trying to build? Do you not see where we're coming from? That's part and parcel of what George Clooney wrote in the New York Times. It's part and parcel of what Stephen Colbert said on his show. It's part and parcel of what Jon Stewart said on his show. And I'm not saying those people matter more than anyone else, but they're articulate, thoughtful people who also happen to be funny in the case of Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart. But they're not immune from not only the larger conversation about the future of the country, but what Biden has done and what he might be risking, not for himself, not only for himself personally, but for the country at large. That is what you just said, Amy, a kind of a crystallization of the argument being presented to the president.
There is some recent polling that suggests Kamala Harris is doing better against Trump right now, even though it may not be statistically significant, but she is doing better against Trump than Biden is. And again, polling is polling, and you never really know what the reality will be during the election. But is that if something does happen, if this continues to break the way it is, and he steps aside, is there anybody other than her, realistically, who would become the nominee?
I'll just go first with the Democratic National Committee rules and campaign finance rules. Okay. Delegates are not bound to vote for Joe Biden. The last time the Democrats had a convention in which the delegates were bound by the results of their primary and caucuses, meaning you have no choice, was 1980. They changed the rules after 1980, and all that is required of delegates now is that in good conscience, your delegate vote reflect the outcome of your primary and caucus. Okay? So there's a very strong predilection, a very strong historical orientation to support the winner of the primary and caucus in your state. That's how the delegate process works. So it's not a lock for Biden, but it's certainly a strong inclination. If the president were to step down and endorse Kamala Harris, his sitting vice president, that orientation, that predilection, that likelihood of supporting Biden now transfers to Kamala Harris. Not universally, but that's more or less how it would play out. And importantly, under campaign finance laws, all of the money donated to up until now to the Biden-Harris reelection campaign could legally be spent and kept in the Harris for president campaign because she's on the campaign letterhead. If you've donated, they can use it if it's Kamala Harris. If it's not Kamala Harris, if it's Gretchen Whitmer or Gavin Newsom or Andy Beshear or Roy Cooper or somebody else, all that money has to be sent back to the donors and redonated. Not impossible, but cumbersome. Those are just some basics as to how this would work, or the sort of the fundamentals of it. An open convention is a chaotic thing that would pit all sorts of Democrats with all sorts of ambitions against each other instantly with lots of confusion and lots of chaos. There are some Democrats who say, oh, that'd be fun to watch, and the country would be invigorated. Lots of other Democrats are like, are you kidding me? That would be a nightmare. We don't know exactly what Kamala Harris would poll against Trump if it was clear that she was going to be the Democratic nominee. There's some indication, but as you said, Chris, those polls are not really I'm not saying the methodology is bad. It's just they're not there yet because people's perceptions aren't there yet. Nobody knows how Kamala would do against former President Trump once everyone knew that was going to be the choice. There are plenty of Democrats who are afraid that she wouldn't stand up well, but several other Democrats I've talked to this week, like, maybe not so bad. She's a former prosecutor. She'd be aggressive against Trump. She'd certainly be aggressive on abortion, an issue that, of the many issues that President Biden fumbled at the first debate, he fumbled that one most spectacularly. They don't think Kamala Harris would. Maybe that would change things. The fact is, until this is resolved with the president, and I have a very hard time understanding when it is resolved before the Democratic National Convention, because it's not as if tonight's press conference, that's going to settle it in everyone's mind. Even if he does a really good job, is that going to settle it? No. Everyone's going to be paying attention to the next time he has a big event. You know, the idea that the president can sort of put a cork in this bottle of nervousness and anxiety about his abilities, I don't think goes away. I think it's just baked into this campaign. Yes, he could be the nominee, but until that is decided at the convention, I think this is a more or less continuous story until then. And that's why plenty of Democrats are like, this cannot continue. This simply cannot. We cannot have 6 more weeks of this.
Major, I know we've got like 20 seconds left, but you did an explainer on Project 2025 with CBS News. What can you let people know, what they need to know about it, and then how they can watch what you did to explain what it is?
It's on Instagram. They're asking me to do all sorts of these social media videos now, and I'm like, I'm almost 62 years old. What are you having me do?
You look
this?
great.
I'm the worst possible
you're doing
person
great.
to do this.
No, you're the best.
Anyway,
you're good on TV.
Project 2025, really quick, 900 pages, huge book about policy prescriptions and personnel trained up and ready to go for the next conservative, quote unquote, administration. They mean the next Trump administration. And a lot of stuff in there would alarm lots of Americans on a wide array of issues because they're deeply conservative, not only in terms of economics, but in cultural politics. You can read more about it. It's a heavily searched Google thing now. Trump is trying to distance himself from it. But Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 will be front and center at the Republican National Convention. So it's hard for Trump to say he doesn't know anything about it.
We could talk more about it next week. And also quickly, we'll give you this. Who's on the podcast this week on The Takeout?
One of the Democrats who first said Biden should step aside, Washington Congressman Adam Smith.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Thank you again, Major Garrett. We will speak again next Thursday.
Great, thanks.
Major Garrett, Chief Washington Correspondent for CBS News. The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie is his book. That podcast we just mentioned, The Takeout, is very good. So is The Agent of Betrayal. Listen to both of those. You can catch them on the Odyssey app, just like this show and Cardinals Baseball, AUDACY.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We've been building homes since 1898. Our Cottleville Trails, located just off Highway 364 at Guttermouth Road, a master planned community with 5 lakes, pool, playground, an extensive trail system that connects to all of the restaurants, bars, and entertainment in the quaint village of Cottleville. We will build to suit from one of our popular Liberty Series ranch, story and a half, or 2-story homes from the 500s. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to Saxony Ridge in Wentzville, a sprawling new home community located off Point Prairie Road, west of Highway Z. Saxony Ridge offers custom new construction homes on 3+ acre home sites in the Francis Howell School District. This private and tranquil community offers spacious home sites surrounded by an abundance of beautiful woodlands and open space. Saxony Ridge homeowners will enjoy the close proximity to New Melly, featuring local restaurants, grocers, and numerous recreational opportunities. For more information, visit Visit LombardoHomes.com.
Enjoy rounds of golf with friends this summer, courtesy of KMOX and Cutwater. Real cocktails perfectly mixed. Now through July 14th, head to your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or liquor store. Look for the Cutwater display and scan the QR code to get entered for a chance to win 6 rounds of golf at area courses from Walters Golf Management. You and your friends could hit the links at courses like Gateway National Golf Links, Stonewolf, Far Oaks, and more. No purchase necessary. Open to Missouri residents 21 or older. Details and rules at KMOX.com/contests.
Cardinal Cowboy here. When it comes to garage door installation, service, and repairs, Renner does that. LiftMaster openers, Renner does that. RENNER forward and back. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
A weak White House, an invasion of illegals, and the woke mob attacking our values. That's what Phil Cristofanelli is fighting for Missouri's future. He supported sending the National Guard to secure the southern border. He defunded sanctuary cities. And Phil Cristofanelli backs the blue to keep our neighborhoods safe from gangs, fentanyl, and human traffickers. He's been named one of Missouri's most conservative legislators year after year. Cristofanelli stands up to the radical left and weak-kneed Republicans. Pro-life, he helped pass one of the nation's strongest anti-abortion laws and defunded Planned Parenthood. Pro-Second Amendment, he stood up for our gun owners and constitutional rights. And Cristofanelli is keeping men out of girls' sports and locker rooms. Phil Cristofanelli, an unwavering conservative for state senate.
Paid for by friends of Phil Cristofanelli. Dan Raker's treasurer.
Hey guys, it's Dave and Rachel from The Dave Glover Show.
So Smart Mouth is the only mouth rinse in the world that has a chemical reaction that makes sure that your bad breath is gone for 12 hours at a time, which means 24 hours a day, zero bad breath.
Yeah, all you have to do is rinse twice and you are covered for 24 hours. That means you never have bad breath. Plus, there's a product to fit whatever your needs are. To learn more, go to their website, smartmouth.com/Glover. And while you're there, you can get a coupon for $2.50 off.
Transforming airwaves into an engaging playground of ideas and entertainment. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Are you freaking kidding me? No way!
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
Well, my contribution today is in honor of our good friend, our dear friend, the cynical Chris Ranji, and it comes courtesy of the White Sox.
Yes, sir. Did he go? Yes, he did. 0-2 from Kopech. Yes, he did. It's an immaculate inning for Michael Kopech. And the Sox take game one of the doubleheader.
That was White Sox pitcher Michael Kopech throwing an immaculate inning, 9 pitches, 9 strikes. The last time that happened, Ranj, for the White Sox, was in 1923, 101 years ago, by Sloppy Thurston.
Oh, I love Sloppy Thurston.
Have you heard of Sloppy Thurston?
Maybe. It kind of sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah, Sloppy. Like, if you ever heard of Sloppy Thurston, I feel like you would have remembered it. At any rate.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know if I've just never paid attention, but I don't think I've Is there always an immaculate inning in at least one, several in a season?
They're kind of rare. They don't happen very often, but for anybody who doesn't know what an immaculate inning is, it's 9 pitches.
9 strikes.
It's 9 pitches, 9 strikes. That's it's very hard to do.
It says the immaculate inning, the one that was just thrown by Kopech, was the 116th in Major League Baseball history, which is not that many, meaning that an immaculate inning is rarer than a no-hitter or hitting for the cycle.
It's very hard to do. Consider the amount of innings that have been played.
That's insane.
In the history of the sport.
And it's only the second in White Sox history.
That's
insane.
That is pretty wild. By the way, the Cardinals should go get Michael Kopech.
Oh, yeah?
Nah, we ain't taking that.
Their announcer, the White Sox announcer, woof.
Oh, really?
Woof.
I don't care how many L's we got this year.
I mean, come on, dude. Stop talking. Amy.
Uh-huh.
It occurs to me as I am telling you this story that I think I had a dream about it last night because I saw this story last night. A man in China was caught trying to smuggle more than 100 live snakes in his pants.
You had a dream about that?
I did. Well, because I saw the story last night, and I think I dreamed a little something about it. Like a bag of snakes on the ground. According to China's Customs Authority, the man was recently stopped at a checkpoint between Hong Kong and the mainland. During inspection, officers said they found 6 canvas drawstring bags sealed with tape in the pockets of his trousers. They then found that each bag contained several live snakes in various shapes and colors. They did not say if the man was arrested, though.
Not gonna lie, I'm glad the snakes were in canvas bags because I pictured him just freestyling, throwing the snakes in his pants.
That's what I thought at first.
Oh.
And like tying it real tight at the bottom and the top.
Like joggers where the ankles are real tight and then your waist is...
You all right, sir? Yeah.
Kind of like Michael Kelly at the pool when he's a little kid.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
The swim trunks.
I know what you mean.
But no one else does.
Well, Michael Kelly, when he was young, didn't know what the drawstring was for, and he tied it around his, he was like 5 or something when that happened.
The poor guy.
Wow.
Well.
Hey, there's a really cool story in the New York Times right now about a woman who really did a lot of work to get women included in the Olympics, and nobody knows much about her. And it's sort of a travesty that people don't. John Branch is with the New York Times, and he joins us next on KMOX.
Here we are in July. Are you using your outdoor space? If you're not, there's probably a good reason. You didn't call Chesterfield Fence and Deck to really trick out your outdoor space. Imagine having a beautiful deck with a custom screen room that keeps the bugs away, or a custom sunroom that it can even maybe be air conditioned, have a beautiful fan so you're outside but not fully in the elements. Or you can walk down those deck steps onto your beautiful patio that's covered by a pergola, maybe a built-in, pizza oven, barbecue grill, you name it. Let your imagination run wild and work with Chesterfield Fence and Deck to make it a reality. They'll come to you with free in-home estimates, free project design, or stop by and see them in the Chesterfield Valley to get a great idea of what the products look and feel like, or maybe get some great ideas. Chesterfield Fence and Deck will offer you 48 months interest-free financing if you mention me, Debbie Monterey. Find them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Your air conditioning system has been getting a real workout this summer. If it needs a little help, you can count on Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling. Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling at 314-968-9900 with 24-hour service nights and weekends for any emergencies and repairs. They do give free estimates as well if you need a whole new system. Right now, they're offering no interest for 5 years on new Lennox air conditioners, and that comes with a 10-year parts and condenser warranty. 314-968-9900 or online at comfortsolutionsstl.com.
1-800-GOT-JUNK recycles because it conserves our natural resources.
We donate the donatables so they can be loved and used by another family.
Recycling saves us money. The less we take to the landfill, the more we save.
It also saves you money. Spending less on landfills helps keep our prices low.
People love to see a win-win scenario, but we've created a win-win-win-win scenario.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Summertime is crazy time for families, and nobody can go without hot water. If you're in need of a water heater, all you have to do is send a picture of your water heater to Beast Plumbing for an estimate and same-day replacements. Call 314-500-LEAK and tell them Bo sent you to Beast Plumbing.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got some sun. It's currently 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. Our top story this hour, better numbers are seen in the government's latest monthly look at inflation, says CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
There was progress on inflation last month. The government reported that June CPI slid by 0.1% in June from May. That means that the overall inflation rate dropped to 3% from a year ago.
Joe Biden holds a high-stakes news conference tonight, facing growing calls to drop out of the presidential race. Political analyst Amy Dacey says Biden must convince voters he has the stamina for the general election.
He needs to be able to really drive home, what he plans to do, what his campaign plans to do, what the vision is for the future, and what the alternative is.
And the top Illinois Democrat is caught on a hot mic speaking about the race for president.
After touting his full support for President Biden in the race against Donald Trump earlier in the week,
Joe Biden's going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker was at a crime-fighting event when a hot mic caught him saying this.
I mean, we're just going to keep fighting. I don't know what to say. I gotta do what we have to do. I don't like where we are, but...
A spokesperson for the governor tells CBS News Chicago it sounds like Pritzker was speaking about the state of the presidential race. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Is the Alton sinkhole getting bigger?
Outside of Gordon F. Moore Park, which remains closed following a sinkhole that opened up in the middle of a soccer and football field due to a mine collapse. Now, it does appear even from this distance that the hole might have gotten bigger, but that's not necessarily the case. Here's Alton Mayor David Goins.
The diameter of the sinkhole has increased due to what they call the sloughing of the dirt around the rim of the sinkhole.
He says they'll meet with the mining company New Frontier towards the end of the week, and on Monday will hold a press conference with more information. Just outside Gordon F. Moore Park, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This just in.
Houston's power utility says 500,000 customers still won't have electricity next week as wide outages from Beryl persist. CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula reports on a controversial new option at some grocery stores in the South.
How about picking up some ammunition when you go to the store for milk and bread? A Texas-based company called American Rounds has started installing ammunition vending machines in grocery stores in Texas, Oklahoma, and Alabama. Grant Majors is the company's CEO.
We feel like we have the safest and most secure, method of ammunition sales in the country.
Majors says he has a waiting list of some 200 grocery stores that want to install an ammunition vending machine. Jim Krasula, CBS News.
The Dow from Stifel's up 41 points to 39,763. We've got some road work on 70 going westbound at 5th Street. It's got the right lane closed. The right shoulder's closed as well. 3 lanes are open. And some road work on 44 going west at the Business Loop at Grace Summit. That's got the right lane closed there.
A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon with a thunderstorm in spots at a high of 89. A thunder shower in the area early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy overnight, low 70. Tomorrow, partly sunny, quite warm but humid. A thunderstorm in the area, high 90. I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got sun across the region. It's 80 in Florissant, 79 St. Peters, 80 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
You got to go to the Mac Gin Show at the St. Charles Convention Center.
Mac Shows presents the St. Charles Gun Show. Shop hundreds of tables with thousands of guns, knives, military surplus, tactical gear, and more. You got to go to the Gun Show this Saturday and Sunday at the St. Charles Convention Center. Visit MacShows.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Check out their new Empower checking account and earn 5% interest on balances up to $25,000.
Ah, yes, the anthem of that event that we love so much every 4 years, the Summer Olympics, every 4 years, the Winter Olympics. And right now, looking forward to Paris and the Summer Games, you think of the past Olympic legends like Allison Felix, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Look forward to seeing Sha'Carri Richardson and Sydney McLaughlin and track and field. And of course, Simone Biles, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Well, women did not always get to compete in the Olympics, and it was a hard-fought battle to get women into the games. And to tell us more about one woman in particular who really fought hard to open up a place in the Olympic Games for female athletes is John Branch, who wrote a story in the New York Times about this very woman. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, this is such an interesting story because I've always said like one of the worst examples of the old boys club is like the IOC and the Olympics. And I'm a runner, so just even realizing that women couldn't run the marathon until 1984 is mind-blowing to me. But you wrote a story about a woman back in the 1920s who fought hard for female athletes. And I want to make sure I say her last name correctly. Is it Alice Milliat?
I think it's Milliat for us English speakers, but I imagine in France it's much different.
That's wild because we've been trying to find a correct pronunciation and you're having the same difficulty. We could not do it.
I'm a print reporter, so I don't have to say it out loud.
That's right. I always say my reading vocabulary is much more extensive than my speaking vocabulary. So tell us about Alice Milliat.
Yeah, so Alice Milliat was a French woman born in 1884 and lived in London for a time as an adult, lost her husband. So she was a young widow in her 20s and moved back to Paris. And there she got involved with some of the growing number of athletic clubs for women. This is during the 19-teens. It's during the First World War. Women were now coming out of the homes more than ever, joining the workforce, also joining community clubs, including athletic clubs in places like Britain and France. And so she joined a local athletic club. She was a big rower, competitive rower. And she realized that these clubs needed to band together. So she created a national organization for women's sports there in France, and then realized that there were federations all around the world and decided that she needed to help co-found an international sports women's federation. And so she did that in 1919. And she then became kind of a thorn in the side of the IOC because she was very adamant that women needed to have a much, much bigger role at the Olympics. As recently as 1924, 100 years ago, when the Olympics were in Paris, there were 3,000 athletes competing. Only 135 of them were women. And Alice Milliat was the one who really pushed harder than anybody else and really forced the issue on the IOC to open up more and more events to women. And this year, in 2024 at the Paris Olympics, on the centennial of those Olympics back then, we're going to have for the first time an equal number of women athletes as we have men athletes. And I think a lot of that is due to Alice Milliat.
Yeah, and it's somebody who is very much unknown. Clearly the general public doesn't know about her as much as they should. And I imagine, and I want to get to that specifically in a moment, but I would think that much like happens now with people who are into social justice or, trying, equality and things like that, that a lot of times there's pushback against those folks when they're operating at the time. But then you look back on them, in hindsight, and then we revere them in a way. How much pushback at the time was she getting?
Well, she was getting a lot because the IOC, as you mentioned at the top, was very much a boys' club. The modern Olympics were started by a man named Pierre de Coubertin, and he had the first Olympics in 1896 in Athens, and he allowed a few women to compete, but not very many. They were in the so-called dignified sports like tennis and swimming and archery, of all things. But never in a million years did he think that women should be competing in things like soccer or even track and field, gymnastics, strangely enough. And Alice came along and said, wait a second, we want to be able to compete in all the things that men want to compete on. And so her main focus was track and field. It was the glamour event of the Olympics. And up until 1928, women were not involved in track and field at the Olympics. And Alice, to try to sort of poke the Olympics in the eye a little bit, started the Women's Olympics, and she called them the Women's Olympics in 1922, and she held them in Paris 2 years before the Paris Olympics, and 20-some thousand people came to the stadium in Paris to watch contingents from the United States and 6 other countries compete in all these track and field events. And the Olympics, the International Olympic Committee, pretty much ignored this, but they were really upset that she called them the Olympics. They're very protective of that name of the Olympics. And she said, no, I'm going to keep calling them the Women's Olympics until you let women in a larger degree to your Olympic Games. And as a compromise, they said, fine, we will let women compete in track and field in 1928. And so that's what happened in 1928. She became a judge. She was the only judge at those Olympics, female judge. And slowly and surely, the screw started to turn, and the Olympics started opening up to more and more women.
Well, and I remember this story, again, just being a runner, looking into the history of track and field, that they allowed the 800-meter race in the 1928 Olympics for women, which was the longest distance they could run. And the first 3 finishers, they broke the world record. Several women, collapsed at the end of the race. And sports writers said, oh, this is so disturbing. And they didn't have another 800-meter race for women until 1960. Even though the 800 is notoriously the worst race in track, it's so hard. Men collapse all the time. The fact that the women collapsed, they said, well, this is untenable. We can't have these women running. And they stopped it.
That's exactly right. All the sports writers at the time were men. And there are some people who think that they collaborated there in the press box to say, look, let's all admit that this is awful to watch and that women shouldn't be involved in this. And so they all said basically the same thing in their columns the next day, that it was disturbing to watch these women fall on the ground and writhe on the ground in pain. And what are we doing to women? And this is all, Pierre de Coubertin, the leader of the Olympics, who was still the leader through 1924 and then kind of the de facto leader all the way up until his death in the 1930s. He called women in the Olympics impractical, uninteresting, ungainly, and improper. And all the way until his death, he didn't think Olympic or women should be involved. In fact, the IOC in the 1930s had a vote on whether women should participate in the Olympics as recently as the 1930s. And women were allowed to continue competing by a vote of 10-9. That's what Alice was fighting against. And I think without Alice, that vote might have gone the other way and would have set back women's sports even further.
It's just so insane. And what blows my mind, like I mentioned, is that it wasn't that they just opened the doors and said, all right, women, you can do any event you want to do in the Olympics. I feel like they've had to fight for every event. So again, the marathon, women weren't allowed to run the marathon until 1984. There wasn't a women's 10K until 1988. And there wasn't a women's 5K in the Olympics until 1996. Like every single event, women have had to fight for games after game.
Absolutely. And even in other sports, things like boxing and wrestling are pretty much recent additions to the Olympics. And I think, you mentioned that Alice has sort of lost to history. She has been overlooked. And I think one of those reasons is because the IOC continued, even upon her leaving and basically retiring in the 30s. She died in the 1950s. The Olympics were canceled twice during the Second World War. And these issues kind of faded away, and the IOC just continued to keep going on and on the way they had been before. And I think Alice now is getting her due because people recognize that she was fighting the fight that women have been fighting in our lifetimes and still continue to fight. But she was fighting it many, many years ago, 100 years ago. And they may have tried to dismiss her. But like you say, she was fighting a fight that then took the IOC a long time to really come to terms with. You know, the number of women at the Olympics for the first time being equal this year, you go back just to like 2008 in Beijing, and it was about 40% women. It was still a 60-40 divide. You know, in this country, I'd like to think we made better strides than we did internationally when you think about things like Title IX. So, you know, theoretically in college sports, you would have the same number of women participants as male participants since the 70s with Title IX. But the Olympics are just now reaching parity in terms of the numbers of athletes.
Your story is the first story that I've ever seen written about her, and it's my introduction to her. And with all of this lack of recognition she's gotten over 100 years, will there be a greater effort to start to give her that recognition on the part of the IOC?
Yeah, the IOC has not done a whole lot. They have recognized her. They're certainly touting the fact that these are the first parity Olympics. So her name is being invoked here and there. But there have been books that have come out this year, both in French and English. There's a documentary that has come out in the last year or two. And if you go to France, you will find that a growing number of streets and gyms are named for her. One thing that the Paris Olympic Committee did was they built an arena in Paris that will be holding a few of the smaller sports, things like badminton, I believe. And there was a push to name that new arena after Alice. Well, of course, as things happened in 2024, Adidas came along and said, we'll pay you $3 million for the naming rights. So instead, it's going to be called Adidas Arena, but the plaza out front is going to be named after Alice. So there are small steps, and I think her name is becoming more and more recognized, certainly in France, and I think that will grow. I compared her a little bit to, in the story, to like a Billie Jean King type of figure. I think somebody who will be eventually looked upon as a pioneer in sports generally, and in women's sports more specifically.
John Branch, New York Times reporter, joining us on the Quiver River Electric guest line this morning. John, we appreciate your time and your reporting. The story is very good, and thank you for giving us that time today.
My pleasure. Thanks for the interest.
Thank you.
That is John Branch from the New York Times with us here on KMOX. It's a very cool story, and I'm not totally stunned that we don't know much about her, and a bigger deal has not been made of Alice Milliat. Milia or whatever. I don't know how to say it. I wish we could get a good pronunciation of it, but clearly a very big deal. Why do we not make a bigger deal of her?
Yeah, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that this is not an American story. This is not the story of the United States. It's the IOC. It's the Olympics, which involves countries all over the world. Some countries which view women as second-class citizens, some countries that don't want to elevate women, some countries that don't allow women to engage extensively in sports or in any sport. I think one reason, if you follow marathoning and you look at the world records of marathoning, you can draw a direct line between women's rights, women's suffrage, and the marathon world record. It's why Australia, Great Britain, and the United States have the fastest runners for a long time, female runners for a long time. It wasn't until, we're just now in the second generation of African women winning world majors in the marathon, because African women didn't have the rights. They didn't have the birth control revolution in the 80s because there was so much focus, so much government money was going to the AIDS pandemic. It wasn't until the 90s that women in Kenya and Ethiopia had the opportunity to run. So we're just now seeing the second generation of women from Kenya and Ethiopia running in these races. So you could argue that the critical mass of female athletes, hasn't even hit yet.
Mayor Tashara Jones will be joining the show in the next hour. Alderwoman Kara Spencer will be on with us. We also are going to talk some birds with Matt Pauley at the bottom of the hour. And we have tickets to see Train and REO Speedwagon at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. That show is July 16th. We're going to give away tickets today. We'll tell you when, soon on KMOX.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are focusing on mental health. Joining me is Dr. Jessica Vanderland, psychologist with Siteman.
Anxiety, depression, PTSD, general distress, insomnia, a lot of fatigue related to cancer, and sometimes body image concerns. All of these are more frequently experienced in a cancer population than in the general population.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Help if you want to sell your home as is. Help doesn't matter the condition it's in. Help if you want to assemble, sell with no agency fees. Claiming groups got you covered, no contingency. House a mess, roof damage, bad taxes, that's all okay. Make sure you remember to call Claiming Real Estate.
Let us help you. ClaimingGroup.com. KLAMEN Group.com.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, but here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank. We proudly recognize the Lee Child and Family Center as a building community partner. The center provides high-quality early education and support for families regardless of their financial situation or a child's development level. Busey is proud to support programs that address all areas of child development with a special emphasis on the social-emotional skills necessary for future success. Learn more at LeeMay.childandfamily.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. The Lee May Child and Family Center has been building community in South County for close to 50 years. In that time, need led to growth. Licensed today for 121 children, the center also offers parents resources, referrals, and support so they can provide more stable homes. We at Busey know strong families mean strong communities. Join us. Get involved. Help your neighbors as we continue building the communities we call home.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Navigating politics with a balanced perspective, fostering discussions, not arguments. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
So here's what happens in the back room, the green room. Chris Ranji, me, Amy Markscores, and Andrew Stoles, the producer of the Dave Glover Show. We get into these conversations, and somehow we started talking about reflux and IBS and the different conditions that so many of us suffer from. And Ranj brought up one of his friends who went to Italy and she has to eat gluten-free here, right?
Yeah, like it was. She went to multiple places.
Okay.
But
And-
Italy was one of them. She
Yeah.
was there for a couple of weeks.
And
I guess.
basically, then this is not a unique story. I've experienced this myself. My friends have had this experience where you might have like IBS here in the United States, or you might have gut issues.
Yeah.
Then you go to Europe, you go to Italy, you go to anywhere really in the Mediterranean, Greece, Israel, all of that. And you can eat all of the food. You can eat the pasta, you can eat the bread, you can eat anything. And not only do you not have gut issues, but you generally lose weight. And that's so frustrating to me because our food here is, for lack of a better term, crappy. It's crappy and overprocessed. And-
Most of it is, and but that's the problem is that it's cheaper. It's cheaper to eat the stuff that is overly processed, which is why people get it. And if you want to eat healthy, if you want to have, the whole foods, the fresh foods, all of that stuff, you can do it, and it's available, but it is so much more expensive.
But it's not even just that it's cheaper, because you can buy a name brand like Wheat Thins. I don't know that Wheat Thins are particularly cheap. It's a name brand. You can't even, I don't know if it's all of Europe or just certain countries, but certain countries, they don't allow Wheat Thins because it's so processed. The flour is so processed. And so we were talking about our food has been stripped of so many vitamins and nutrients. It's why you can even eat healthy produce. And it's been on the shelf so long, or we've lost so many nutrients that stemmed into the conversation about pharmaceutical commercials. Oh my goodness, do we have tons and tons of pharmaceutical commercials. Maybe it depends on what channel you're watching. If you watch the Hallmark Channel, you're going to see a lot. But I think in general,
it's everywhere.
Sometimes you have commercials.
Watching the news, watching anything, it's there.
You have commercials for drugs. You don't even know what it's for. And it just shows happy people. It's like, ask your doctor. And I didn't know this, but drug advertisements, pharmaceutical commercials are not allowed in Europe.
Well, they didn't used to be allowed here. Full disclosure, we're talking prescription drugs. Because you
drugs.
could always,
Yeah.
Advil, Tylenol, that kind of thing
Yeah.
was always a aspirin. You always saw advertising for that. But it used to be that you could not. And full disclosure, you're going to hear ads like that on this
sure.
station.
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single radio station, every single television station.
Streaming
they all
service.
have streaming service,
Yes.
prescription drug commercials. I hate them. I hate the idea of watching a commercial that goes on for 30 or 60 seconds and them telling you all these things that might be potentially wrong with you. And then you go, I guess I do have that. Go ask your doctor about flubbity bloobity bloof.
Yeah.
And then you go in like, hey, I think that drug, I think I need that.
Like-
Well, the doctor is for this.
Yeah.
This has been my argument for years since they allowed that. I can't believe, I mean, I can because somebody benefited from it, but it never should have been overturned and allowed that a company can try to sell you this prescription drug for an ailment you didn't even think that you had or knew you had, because this is what the doctor is for. You go in, you think, hey, doc, this doesn't feel right. Is there something you can do for that? And then the doctor says, well, there's this new drug. Okay, I can get down with that. I don't need you telling me on television that you might have a problem, so you better go in and ask for this drug. It's ridiculous that we allow it. I can't believe we allow it. It's nonsense. Want to give people the birds?
Sure.
We're going to give you the birds
Ask
when
your
we come
doctor
back.
if you need the birds.
Ask your doctor if you need more Cardinals baseball in your life. Matt Pauley joins us next.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming and stressful, especially with challenges like record inflation, rising interest rates, potential recessions, and the uncertain future of Social Security. These factors can significantly impact your life savings. So, what steps are you taking to help preserve your financial future? Join the All Financial Group at their office Thursday, July 18th for an informative presentation. Their goal? To help you gain valuable tools, insights, and proven strategies to make informed decisions about your retirement planning.
Now, I've got a list of roadblocks that I have people ask me about on a regular basis. Inflation, taxes, what's going on with the election.
Seats are limited, so registration is required. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com to secure your spot. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor.
At 11:30, some clouds, 81 downtown at the Arch. Shelley Duvall, the Texas-born movie star whose wide-eyed presence was a mainstay in the films of Robert Altman and who co-starred in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, has died. Shelley Duvall was 75. More coming up in the news at noon. Construction on 70 going west at Zumble. That's got the left lane closed. Also, the exit ramp, if you're going 55 north to Rivas Barracks, that is also closed. Partly sunny today with a thunderstorm in spots. High temperature 89. Thunder shower in a few spots this evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, low 70. For tomorrow, partly sunny with a high of 90. Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. It is 81 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Fira Capital Management, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call Fira Capital Management today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Fira Capital Management, 314-328-4400. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Firm may not give tax advice.
Enjoy rounds of golf with friends this summer, courtesy of KMOX and Cutwater. Real cocktails perfectly mixed. Now through July 14th, head to your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or liquor store. Look for the Cutwater display and scan the QR code to get entered for a chance to win 6 rounds of golf at area courses from Walters Golf Management. You and your friends could hit the links at courses like Gateway National Golf Links, Stonewolf, Far Oaks, and more. No purchase necessary. Open to Missouri residents 21 or older. Details and rules at KMOX.com/contest.
Your passport into a world of wit and wisdom and a splash of humor. Chris and Amy on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt. I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar. I'm Wilson Contreras.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
A swing, and there's a fly ball, right center field. Isbell calls for it, makes an over-the-shoulder catch. Contreras with a fly out, and this ballgame has come to an end. The Royals swept the doubleheader, winning 6-4 in Game 1, 8-5 in this one.
Yo, Paulie! Paulie's a great name. Watch your mouth, boy. Yo, Paulie! What'd you do for Paulie? Anything?
Want me to get you beer, Paulie?
Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
We go to the Quiver River Electric guest line today, and the Cardinals. Hey, we thought that doubleheader was going to be a great idea.
Yeah.
Yet before the doubleheader started,
I thought the Brewers were going to lose, and the Cardinals were going to win both games, and then they would be within 2.5
Hey.
2.5.
Why not play 2 on a Wednesday?
It was a beautiful day. It was beautiful.
It turned into a nice day. It wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be, though it was warm. This Cardinals report brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Matt Pauley is our sports fella, and he is with us tonight. The Cardinals have an off day before they will start a series tomorrow at home against the Cubes. The Chicago Cubs will be in town. Matt Pauley, what's up?
Not much. How are you guys?
We are just absolutely killing it today. Yesterday did not go well for the Cardinals, losing that doubleheader. And while, Kansas City is good this year, and by good, I mean better than they typically are, you still would have liked to have seen a better showing against them.
Yeah, it was a bad day. I don't think there's any running away from that. That happens over a 162-game season. If they were still at that point of the year where they're like 9 games under 500 and stuff's going really bad, then yesterday's a really, really bad day. But every team has a bad day. It really stinks that they decided to have a bad day when they were playing 2 games. But unless all of a sudden things go into a major downturn, and this is the start of it, I don't really chalk it up as anything more as a singular bad day.
All right, so the doubleheader yesterday, off day today, so that kind of offsets the doubleheader. And there was an off day prior to it, turned out to be. They'll have the doubleheader on Saturday. We go into the All-Star break in terms of rest and, the health in that regard. Where do they stand?
I think they're really concerned about their pitching right now and the usage. That was something that's been talked about a lot. I don't think they were upset about having the rain out a couple days ago. There was no way that they were going to schedule a game today on what was a mutual off day. They used they were able to utilize pitching yesterday, and the extra guy available went to Gordon Graceffo. So they are concerned about that. As far as overall health, Tommy Edman got scratched last night. He was scheduled to pitch, or not pitch. It was scheduled to play for AA Springfield, and he ends up getting scratched right before. He's kind of that next guy that we'll probably see. I haven't heard a whole lot recently on Riley O'Brien. He was throwing he actually had a bullpen session to Tommy Edman last week. So it's a team that's, I think, mostly healthy, but there certainly are still some guys who could use the break and will be able to benefit from it.
So what's the word on him? He gets scratched. Is this a setback? Is it not that big of a deal? What do we know?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on it, to be perfectly honest with you. And I just hopped back on Twitter to see if anything has come out this morning, but it hasn't. So it was such a close late to scratch yesterday that this broadcaster for Springfield had no clue that Tommy Edman was not in the lineup until his spot came up in the order and he didn't stand up. So something went down yesterday, and unless there's something out there that I haven't seen, but I think I'd see it, there's been no reporting at all on what went down with Edman last night.
The only thing I've seen is general soreness. That's it.
The worst general of them all.
Reporting for duty, general soreness. That's all I've heard, but nothing specific.
It's like the thing from How I Met Your Mother, that anytime somebody says, I don't know if you guys are fans, but anytime somebody says that, they salute. Okay.
Oh, anytime they say general anything?
Yeah, general, or like if there's the major or whatever, they salute. Yeah.
You know what? So maybe
I like that.
I had a buddy who tried for years to sell me on that show, and I couldn't do it.
Nobody cares, Ranj.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a good show.
If you say so.
Well, he also hasn't.
The whiny Ted, like, oh, I love you. Get out of here with that guy.
You haven't watched The Office either. In The Office,
I'm in love with you. Can we have a moment? Get lost.
Neil Patrick Harris on How I Met Your Mother is one of the great characters in TV history, the Barney Stinson character.
And so is Doogie Howser, though. He has 2 of the greatest characters in TV history.
Wow.
I love Doogie Howser.
Amy, get us back on track.
Okay, I'm going to get us back on track. So Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt both had homers yesterday, but I mean, they're still struggling. They're not playing the way we want them to play. Are you holding out hope that something clicks and these guys go on a tear when it matters? Or are you kind of settled in with the fact of this is how their performance will be this season?
I think getting a little bit better. Now, do I think that these guys are going to turn into the fringe, for Goldschmidt, MVP caliber? For Arenado, he's been kind of a fringe MVP caliber type player in his career. I don't think it's ever going to get back to that point for either of them, but that doesn't mean that they can't go be very good contributing members to this team. And we're seeing that a little bit. Arenado had 4 out of 5 multi-hit games, but a lot of them are singles. He's not driving the ball quite as much, although he does hit the home run. To me, I think we're at a point now where you look at Alec Burleson and you look at Brendan Donovan and maybe you look at Mason Wynn, you look at guys like that and you say, okay, these are the players who are going to really be leading the way and are going to be the players who are going to be a big part of what the team is able to do from a run scoring standpoint. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get production out of Goldschmidt and Arenado. It just means in a healthy organization, young players eventually kind of move into those bigger roles. And, specifically to those guys, Nolan Arenado in his last 7 games, hitting .367 with an .887 OPS. So that's pretty good. Goldschmidt, as you mentioned, had the home run yesterday, had a hit in each game. He's driving the ball a little bit more. Even some of his outs are balls that are hit hard. So I think it's a little bit better here recently than the numbers would indicate. I was actually a little surprised on the postgame show last night. There was a lot of people really complaining about Paul Goldschmidt. And in the month of July, he's got a 755 OPS. Like nobody's going to an all-star game on a 755 OPS. I get that, but especially from a corner outfield or corner infield spot, but it's not bad. Like that's the point I'm trying to make.
It's like
bad.
It's kind of exactly major league average.
Yeah. So there's other things to worry about. If Paul Goldschmidt has a 755 OPS from here until the end of the year, he's a middle of the road first baseman. And it's not what you want out of a guy who's getting paid and a guy who was an MVP 2 years ago. But it's also not the worst thing in the world.
Cardinals tomorrow start a 4-game series, and again, it includes a doubleheader on Saturday. But they got the 4-game series against the Cubs, a team that is in last place in the division, 4.5 behind where the Cardinals are. Though, if you look at the wild card standings, they're only 3.5 out. I don't know that they are a playoff team. I highly doubt it at this point. If you asked me before the season, I would have said they had a pretty good chance, but it doesn't look like Chicago does now. How big is this series in determining one way or the other what happens with these two teams before the deadline, in your opinion?
I think it's a bigger series for Chicago because as you get into the All-Star break, teams start to shift from worrying about the draft to worrying about the trade deadline at the All-Star break because the draft takes place then. So you're able to start kind of channeling your resources in a different direction once the draft comes to an end. So if you're the Cubs and you're sitting where you're at right now in the standings and it doesn't look great, you come out of the All-Star break in the same spot, I think you're starting to consider selling off. But if the Cubs come in and win 3 out of 4 and all of a sudden they're within a couple games of the Cardinals and a couple games of playoff spots, it probably changes a little bit. So for the Cardinals, I don't think this series, they've played such great baseball. The last thing you want is for them to kind of fall on their face going into the All-Star break and undo some of the really good work that they've done. But even if they were to lose 3 out of 4, that's not a end of season sort of thing. But for the Cubs, this is a really, really big series that could determine which direction they go.
And one other note about tomorrow's game, of course, as always, you can hear it on KMOX 98.7, 1120 a.m. The Odyssey app, if you're in the St. Louis area, you can listen. But tomorrow is an Apple TV Plus game, which means you have to have an Apple TV subscription to watch it. My guy, Wayne Randazzo, in fact, is going to be on the call for that game. How do you feel about the streaming service games? And they're going to become more and more frequent when they're on, Amazon or Apple or Hulu or whatever. A lot of sports are doing this.
Yeah. The only thing that ever bothers me a little bit is when you have to actually be a subscriber where you're paying money. Like when the games are on Roku on Sundays, that you just have to have the Roku app. That's not anything. It always bugs me if a team is going to be on a certain service for 2 or 3 games a year, asking people to pay a little bit extra money for that. I get the frustration there. But in terms of the overall streaming, I don't view games on streaming any different than when games were taken off network TV and putting on cable, and you had to get a cable subscription or you had to get a cable box. Like, it's just now the only caveat I'll put on that is there's some people in our country that live in areas where they don't have high-speed internet access and they just can't watch games, and that really stinks for them. But that's a small percentage of people. For the most part, the complaining about games being on streaming services, I don't buy it. I just kind of most people have a Netflix. If you have, I remember the first time that we saw the Cardinals on a game on Apple last year. Somebody called in Sports Open Line, and it was when you didn't even need to pay for Apple TV. It was a free game as long as you got the Apple TV. And somebody called in and was complaining about it. And I said, "Can you watch Netflix on your TV?" They said, "Yeah, of course I can." And I said, "Well, then you could have watched the game. All you got to do is have the Apple app." So there seems to be a disconnect on how easy it actually is. And I don't view a game on a streaming service any different than I would deem a game on CBS Sports Network or ESPN3 is another streaming thing. Nobody pushes back on that, Peacock, whatever. So I'm not anti-streaming. That's a long answer.
And Matt, the blackout thing is ridiculous. MLB has got to resolve this.
Yeah.
There are parts of Iowa that there are 6 teams that they are blacked out from. They can't watch, and the Cardinals being one of them. Cardinals, Cubs, Royals,
Sox.
Twins, Sox, and Brewers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a much bigger deal than a game being thrown on Apple TV.
Matt, I have a question for you that okay. I went to the baseball game last night with Mason Jar and the family. And I want to get your opinion on something that happened regarding a foul ball. So we were along the third base line, kind of far down. I can't remember if we were in front of the net or not, but, towards the edge of where the netting ends. And it was a pop foul, went way high, came back down right into Mason Jar's outstretched hand. So the ball hits his fingers, right? And he's about to grasp the ball with his bare hand when a 50 to 55-year-old man behind him with a baseball glove snatches the ball, right? Because you can snap the glove at a little bit more strength than catching the ball with your fingers, and then was able to snatch the ball out of his fingers. Should adults go to a baseball game with their gloves, or is that something for kids only? You reserve the right to plead the fifth, but we've had people weigh in all morning.
I think it's more of a kids only sort of, especially if you're going to act in that way. If you're going to bring the glove as an adult, I think you need to, if the only time you use it is if the ball literally comes into exactly where you're standing and there's no movement involved. Now, thankfully, it was not a kid situation where the adult tries and gets the ball from the kid. That's the worst thing in the world. Mm-hmm. At least the motion there was against another adult. So I'm not completely saying no glove, but if you do have the glove, I think you look pretty bad as an adult if you make a major motion to try to get the foul ball.
And I will say he was in a Royals jersey, so there you go. And also he was alone, whereas Mason Jar had a very disappointed 11-year-old next to him.
Oh, and the person kept the ball?
Yes. Oh, he was thrilled.
Oh.
See, I think if you are an adult and you catch a foul ball and there is a kid within, where you could see them very easily, you need to hand the ball to the kid.
Disagree.
Catch the ball, disagree. Enjoy your moment in catching the ball. Give the ball away.
Disagree. Be taller, kid.
No, oh my gosh.
Hey, some people wait their entire lives to get their hands on a foul ball.
Matt,
and maybe that doesn't happen until you're 55 years old.
Matt, this
and if
guy.
You finally it happens for you, you take that ball home and brag about it and tell everybody. In fact, I reached over a 12-year-old to catch this ball.
I was at a hockey game once. I was at a Colorado Avalanche game, and I was there with my two younger second cousins. And during warm-ups, they flipped the pucks up. And there's all these kids out there, and my two younger cousins so badly wanted a puck, and I'm like the only adult down there. And I remember feeling so terrible because the puck comes up and I reached up in the air and I grabbed it. Now, I did it all
put it
so
in your
they
pocket
could have it.
and
I
took it
was
home.
not keeping it myself, but I definitely felt terrible about taking the puck out of the air.
Not only would I keep it, but I would show it to the kid, say, "Be better, kid," and then put it in my pocket and leave. That's what I would do.
This guy's
Matt
available,
Pauley.
ladies.
Hey,
He is
Matt
available,
Pauley, tonight,
ladies.
6 o'clock, Sports Open Line, right?
Yes, 6. I think we may have a news special type thing that's going to delay our start time tonight. I don't know if that's public knowledge yet. We'll be on at some point.
Is it the president's press conference?
I don't know
It
what
might
we've
be
said
that.
yet, so I'm not going to say anything.
All right.
I mean, I didn't know
Never
about
mind.
it.
Never mind.
I don't know anything about it.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
That's Matt.
Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
Sorry, man. If you're 10 years old and you're not good enough to get that ball or to get that puck, somebody who's just physically better than you, physically superior, takes the ball right away from you, that's too bad. Life lesson.
Yeah.
Things don't get handed to you in this world.
That's right.
You got to earn it.
He's a gem.
Mayor Jones will join us next hour. We're also going to talk to Alderwoman Kara Spencer. It's all coming up. The numbers for Joe Biden don't look very good. They continue to get worse. That's all coming up on KMOX.
Celebrate National Carpet Cleaning Month with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 and get a 4th room for free and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call right now, 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We've been building homes since 1898. Our newest community, Duvер Estates, is in Creve Coeur on Mason Road, just north of Ladue Road. We will build a suite from one of our luxurious designer series ranch or story-and-a-half plans, starting in the 800s. Hurry to secure one of the 12 exclusive wooded home site opportunities at this prime location. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Hey, you heard me talk about it yesterday. You heard Chris Ranji as well about something new from Together Credit Union. So Together Credit Union just launched a brand new high-yield checking account called Empowered Checking. Yes, checking account. So with Empowered Checking, you earn above market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. So it doesn't just have to sit there doing nothing. The interest is paid to you each month. So like they say, it's a checking account that rewards you for balances and not just activity. To apply, visit togethercu.org or stop by any one of the 14 local St. Louis branches, and you can work directly with one of their amazing member advocates. So you get paid to save with Empowered Checking. Visit togethercu.org/empower. togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together, we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission: to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
The weather report today is hot. So I hope all your everybody's air conditioning is cooling the best it can. Now, don't fret if it's 100 degrees outside and you have your thermostat set for 65 and it's not pulling it down to 65. That's not the air conditioner. That's just your house incapable. It's not insulated enough. It just can't handle that kind of heat being pulled into your house. But if you, at 100 degrees, it's not cooling it, below 80 for 2 days in a row, or if it's real humid and muggy, that is a sign that you're either having a problem like a window or doors left open, or your air conditioning is failing on you. So if that happens to be you, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600, or on the internet, BartInman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special, only $49.99. Seminars Tuesday, August 13th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m.
Making radio waves more interesting. The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
If you want to win train tickets, specifically tickets to see REO Speedwagon and Train at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater on July 16th, you need to be the eighth caller right now at 314-955-1120. Good luck and
be very careful.
314-955-1120.
That is our call-in or a contest line. It's not the regular call-in number. Don't call that one.
That's what we told you to be careful.
That's why you need to be careful when you dial 314-955-1120.
Good luck. I hope you win your train tickets. No one gives away train tickets like we do.
Dude, you have no idea.
Yeah.
We will speak to Mayor Tashara Jones in the 12 o'clock hour. We are going to speak to Alderwoman Kara Spencer in the 12 o'clock hour. There's a lot coming up here. I mentioned the numbers for Biden and the groundswell and the growing number of people from his own party who appear to be wanting to move on from him. There is a lot that is going on right now in this country. That and more is coming up next. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. And here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A weak White House, an invasion of illegals, and the woke mob attacking our values. That's what Phil Cristofanelli is fighting for Missouri's future. He supported sending the National Guard to secure the southern border. He defunded sanctuary cities. And Phil Cristofanelli backs the blue to keep our neighborhoods safe from gangs, fentanyl, and human traffickers. He's been named one of Missouri's most conservative legislators year after year. Cristofanelli stands up to the radical left and weak-kneed Republicans. Pro-life, he helped pass one of the nation's strongest anti-abortion laws and defunded Planned Parenthood. Pro-Second Amendment, he stood up for our gun owners and constitutional rights. And Cristofanelli is keeping men out of girls' sports and locker rooms. Phil Cristofanelli, an unwavering conservative for state senate.
Paid for by friends of Phil Cristofanelli, Dan Raker's treasurer.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got sun. It's 82 downtown at the Arch. Our top story this hour. So far, just one senator is saying publicly that President Biden should step aside and give up his bid for a second term. But it's a different story among Democrats in the House, as we hear from congressional correspondent Nicole Killian.
On the House side, we continue to see defections, and the latest being Congresswoman Hillary Scholten, who is a frontline member. She just moments ago announced that she believes that the president should step aside, arguing that it's important to put forth the strongest candidate possible, someone who can not only win, but also govern.
A hot mic catches a stray comment from a staunch supporter of Joe Biden.
I've endorsed him and Kamala Harris.
Earlier in the week, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker reiterating his unwavering support for President Biden.
I'll be cheering for him in the audience.
Then Wednesday at a crime-fighting event in Chicago, a hot microphone caught him saying this.
I mean, we're just going to keep fighting. I don't know what to say. You know, I gotta do what we have to do. I don't like where we are, but...
The sentence trails off when an aide interrupts his conversation. A spokesperson for the governor tells CBS News Chicago the comment was apparently about the state of the presidential race. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
President Biden plans a news conference tonight at 5:30 Central Time. We'll carry it for you right here on KMOX. AP correspondent Margie Zarraletta reports on the death of actor Shelley Duvall.
Boy, was he a genius. He was beautiful, too. He had hair out to here.
Shelley Duvall did not intend to become an actor, but her life changed when she met filmmaker Robert Altman at a party, and he cast her in Brewster McCloud.
I know what it feels.
Altman loved Duvall so much he cast her in his films Popeye, Nashville, and Three Women.
Wasn't it around here that the Donner Party got snowbound?
Duvall also was known for playing Wendy Torrance in The Shining opposite Jack Nicholson and for recurring roles in Time Bandits. She later ventured into children's television with Tall Tales and Legends and Fairy Tale Theater. She had retired from acting in the early 2000s, but had accepted small roles in recent years.
There's no tollway in the Metro East, but that is not stopping scammers from trying to get your money.
Illinois State Police say people are getting text messages from someone posing as the Illinois Tollway Authority, claiming there's a $7.59 outstanding toll payment balance that'll balloon to $75.90 if action isn't taken quickly. Troopers say that message is bogus. The link on it is incorrect. There is no campaign underway to recoup toll funds. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
The KMOX Business Desk. The feds spend on EVs.
Federal grants totaling more than $1 billion are going to General Motors and Stellantis to support increased electric vehicle production. Overall, the federal government is contributing $1.7 billion to projects at 11 plants in 8 states. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifels up 8 points to 39,729. We've got road work on 70 going west at 5th Street, and that is in the right lane and the right shoulder. Also some road work on 70 going westbound at Zumble, but that's got all the lanes open there.
This afternoon will be partly sunny with a stray thunderstorm, high 89. There could be a thunderstorm in the area early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy, low 70. Tomorrow, partly sunny, very warm and humid, a chance of a thunderstorm, high 90. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling. In the heat of summer, if the AC fails on one of these hot days, call Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling. They carry the Lennox line and offer no interest for 5 years on a new Lennox AC unit. Go to ComfortSolutionsSTL.com. We've got sun. It's 82 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Check out their new Empower checking account and earn 5% interest on balances up to $25,000.
Congratulations to Andrea from Collinsville, who has won tickets to see REO Speedwagon and Train at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater July 16th. Don't worry, though. You still have one more opportunity to win tickets to that show. It'll be tomorrow here on Chris and Amy on KMOX. So the Joe Biden situation continues to develop, and it is developing today. Now, he does have a press conference, a NATO press conference that is scheduled for later today, and a lot of people have been looking at that press conference as sort of a windsock, right? You just want to see what direction the wind is blowing and see if he looks any better today than he did in the past, which really isn't a good situation to be in, that we have to wait for a press conference to see if he looks okay before we can feel any better about the situation. Well, a number of things have happened. More congressional Democrats have sort of come out and said that they believe they want to move on. Morning Joe host Joe Scarborough earlier today says that the Biden campaign believes that Barack Obama is sort of behind the scenes and leading the charge for the calls for him to drop out, which, if that is the case, and we heard about the George Clooney op-ed, where the reporting is that he did consult with Biden on it, with Obama on it, but did not say, did not ask for his endorsement. Obama didn't give it to him, but also didn't tell him not to, which is also very telling. So all of these things are happening right now, leading us to, I think, maybe at some point we're going to see him drop out. But that's still... I feel like
the writing is on the wall at this point. It would be incredibly difficult, and with each passing day, more so for Joe Biden to stay in the race. As I said when we talked to Major Garrett earlier today, that over the course of 5 decades, we know there are 2 Joe Bidens. We've seen it over the course of almost 50 years. There is the empathetic, sympathetic Joe Biden, the version of him that people love. And then there is the version of him that is stubborn. And I do believe that if he refuses to step down and he loses this election to Donald Trump, his legacy will be one of catastrophic obstinance that led to this.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if I would go that far. I think if you look back 10, 20 years, I'm not sure that's how we'll see it. It depends on what happens next and how the election goes. But another bit of reporting from the New York Times happening within the hour, it says here, they say that some longtime aides of him and advisors have started to become increasingly convinced he will have to step aside. And in recent days, they've been trying to come up with ways to persuade him that he should. This is according to 3 people who have been briefed on the matter. So that is reporting within the last hour from the New York Times.
And just a couple of names there, as we mentioned on Caitlin Collins, The Source, a couple of days ago, Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado said he believes Biden cannot win. But then officially the first senator to go on record, Senator Peter Welch of Vermont, wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post. He was the first Democratic senator to call on the president to step aside. So more and more people, more and more prominent people are going on record saying Joe Biden should step aside. As far as non-prominent people, you and me, the average American, the people, 2/3 of Americans, according to a new ABC News Washington Post Ipsos poll, 2/3 of Americans say Joe Biden should step aside as his party's presumptive nominee for president. And this includes a majority of Joe Biden's own supporters. And 85% of
This number is
Americans,
unbelievable.
85% of Americans see Joe Biden as too old to be president.
That's unbelievable. The number is that high, and you might be thinking, "Well, it's obvious. What do you mean it's too high?" Not really, because even in some of the most obvious situations where you see polling happen, to get an 85% result is huge.
Yeah.
That's really, I would have thought that it would be more along the lines of 2/3.
Yeah. And again, and I would even say, lest it be perceived as ageism, I think when people say he's too old, I think they're talking about not just the number, but his current mental and physical condition. If he were vibrant and 81, we're not having this conversation. It's not just about the number. It's about his current mental and physical capacity, because Nancy Pelosi did not say he should step down, but did not say he should stay in the race. And she gave that interview on Morning Joe after Joe Biden had said, "I'm staying in." And she said, well, it's up to him. It's his decision on whether or not he will or not. She's 84. She's 3 years older than Biden.
A bipartisan group of senators, and this is a story that Amy and I have talked about before in the past, and I think we're in lockstep on this idea that people in Congress, senators, those in the House of Representatives, should not be allowed to trade individual stocks. But there is a bipartisan effort from Senators Jeff Merkley, Gary Peters, John Ossoff, and Josh Hawley, who is part of this as well. It's going to be called the Ethics Act, and that is ending trading and holdings in congressional stocks. So it is exactly what it sounds like, that you can no longer trade individual stocks if you are a member of Congress. And right now, the law is that if a member of Congress or their spouse has an individual stock transaction over $1,000, that they have to report it within 45 days. The new bill would direct lawmakers to stop buying any new individual stocks immediately. And at the beginning of the next session of Congress in 2027, they'll be required to divest from any individual assets. I think this is great, and I think that's the way it should be. You can have mutual funds, you can have ETFs, you can have, a 401k, you can have all these other things that the rest of us are allowed to have, but you just can't trade individually. You should not be allowed to, because you're privy to information before the general public gets it. Look what happened during COVID.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who cashed in.
I mean, again, it's Republicans and Democrats. I'm just bringing up Nancy Pelosi. I just brought up her name. I mean, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. If you are in Congress, you know not only what initiatives, whether they be healthcare initiatives or grain initiatives, you know what is coming down over the next 12 months, 24 months, and you know what companies, what names are being bandied about. So yes, if you have individual stocks of companies that are about to sign major government contracts, it's insider trading.
And I very rarely agree with Senator Hawley on a lot of things, and I'm just not the biggest fan of his as a politician for a number of different reasons. He's right on the Coldwater Creek, the nuclear waste stuff in Missouri. He's right on this too. He's right to be a part of this one.
Okay, this is a very American and kind of frustrating. American Rounds, the company, has installed computerized vending machines at grocery stores in Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas. Okay, vending machines. The thing is,
I love vending machines.
These vending machines sell ammunition. So there are now vending machines that sell bullets in some grocery stores in Alabama, Oklahoma, and Texas, and it allows patrons to pick up bullets along with a gallon of milk. So American Rounds, they say their machines use an ID scanner and facial recognition software to verify the purchaser's age, and they're as quick and easy to use as a computer tablet. And their argument is it's not unusual to be able to buy bullets at a grocery store, because what's the difference between buying bullets at a grocery store and buying bullets at Walmart? Is there a demand for this?
I'm guessing. especially in Oklahoma and Texas and states like that.
Alabama.
Yeah, in Alabama. I'm sure there is. It doesn't seem like a good idea to me. And one of the arguments against it was somebody in a community where you would have to drive an hour and a half to get ammunition. This would make it easier for them. Like, why does it have to be easy for you to get ammunition? Like, when you go to buy your ammo and it takes you an hour to drive there, why can't you just stock up if you need it that badly for hunting?
Because it's not like healthcare where you don't want to have to drive an hour and a half to get to a hospital. That's a real
But
issue.
sometimes it happens.
And a lot of people live in that environment. That's very difficult. But again, it is easier to buy high-capacity guns than it is to buy Sudafed.
Yeah, you can buy it, twice, I think, in a 6-month period?
You can be pro-Second Amendment and still understand the necessity and usefulness of red flag laws. And also, a 24-hour waiting period before you buy a high-capacity gun or multiple guns or however many rounds of ammunition, because you think, well, I want to, I guess if you have your gun to defend yourself, whatever. When do you have to buy multiple high-capacity guns and get them within 24 hours? Again, if someone is buying this on an emotional whim because they want to shoot up a place, a 24-hour waiting period can be helpful. Won't stop everybody, but it could stop some. I just don't understand why simple laws that still allow you to buy a gun even, but just slow the process down. It's so readily available.
And there's nothing that prevents the process from being slowed down. Nothing in the Constitution says we can't do that. But I know a lot of people will argue against that. You may have heard sirens this morning and wondered what in the world is going on. And are we in Europe now? We'll tell you what it was when we come back. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to Saxony Ridge in Wentzville, a sprawling new home community located off Point Prairie Road, west of Highway Z. Saxony Ridge offers custom new construction homes on 3+ acre home sites in the Francis Howell School District. This private and tranquil community offers spacious home sites surrounded by an abundance of beautiful woodlands and open space. Saxony Ridge homeowners will enjoy the close proximity to New Melly, featuring local restaurants, grocers, and numerous recreational opportunities. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special, only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. In Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m.
No fights, just insights. Talking politics with respect for all. KMOX, your connection to St. Louis and the region.
Maybe when you got up today or within an hour of being up, you heard this in the city of St. Louis. It's kind of hard to hear, but it's off in the distance. So those
it sounds like Europe, like Paris.
It does.
That's a Jason Bourne movie.
I could hear it from where I lived, and I thought, what is that? I thought it sounded like a European ambulance. And but it was louder than that, and I didn't know what it was. Well, they had actually warned us of this yesterday. The city of St. Louis had tweeted out that they were testing new sirens today, and between the hours of 8 and 12 o'clock had done exactly that. It's the Notify STL system. They are testing those outdoor warning sirens, and I don't know how I feel about how they sound. I kind of like it because it's different, but it also was very, very alarming.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure what it was. Sounds very different than what we're used to.
I think it's the unfamiliarity, and then you make the connotations of, well, the only time I hear those sirens are in like war movies or Jason Bourne movies,
right?
Where all the European sirens, because he just tears up European towns driving in really high-speed chases.
He's getting away from people chasing him.
He's constantly getting the whole series is a chase
It's not
scene.
his fault.
It's not his fault. He doesn't even know who he is.
Right.
So I do think those sirens are scary, but I'm glad you could hear them at least.
Yeah, I could hear them because I can't hear my own fire alarm in my building. So I'm glad I could hear those at least.
Well, hopefully you'll start to hear, maybe more police sirens, I guess. See, the St. Louis Police Department
I don't want to hear more of them.
Oh, yeah, but you don't want to not hear them because they don't have any. The St. Louis Police Department is short now more than 300 officers, well over 300 officers. I saw numbers up to close to 380 officers that the St. Louis Police Department is short. That's a big deal in a city that is struggling with crime. We talked about the events going on downtown and how police officers were outnumbered by the chaos and the chaos spreading youth that were shooting guns and fireworks and driving their cars up and down the streets in downtown St. Louis. So 124 new applicants have applied recently to be police officers in the St. Louis area due to a campaign to try to get more people to apply for the job, apply for the position. This campaign was sponsored by the St. Louis Police Foundation. So no taxpayer funds were utilized in this campaign to get more police officers. A bit interesting because I'm wondering, is the city trying hard to get new police officers? But it's a big deal when you're supposed to have 1,200 or so and you're in the 800 range when it comes to police officers in a town that at times has one officer on duty or no officers on duty in certain parts of the town. Like if one guy calls in sick, that area doesn't have a police officer.
But the good news is they are trying to hire more people. They're
the
trying
St.
to fill
Louis
those
Police
positions.
Foundation is.
Yeah, well, whatever. I mean, it's happening, right? It doesn't matter how it happens. It matters that it does happen, and they are trying to hire more police officers for the city, and hopefully we'll get to that goal. You remember the Alton sinkhole that opened up in Gordon Moore Park just out of nowhere. Luckily, nobody was there at the time, but it is a massive sinkhole, and certainly people would have been hurt had the park been open at the time or people been there, maybe even killed. That did not happen, but Mayor David Goins did give an update. There are mining operations that are going on around the area. They're doing some drilling to see how deep the rock ceiling is before they can reopen the park. But that was a very scary thing.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to be closer to a date on when the park is going to be reopened, but man, that whole thing was frightening.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
If you've seen the hole by now, it could have been very bad.
Swallows up the lamppost. If you are in Illinois, be aware of a text scam alert, a phone scam alert. The Illinois State Police, they're warning the public of a telephone scam. It's circulating in Illinois. So again, this is not from the Illinois Tollway, but this is what a text you might get. Looks like this. Illinois Tollway, our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $75.90, please settle your balance of $7.59 at, and then it has Illinois Tollwayservices.com. This is not from the tollway. It's a scam. Do not click the link. Do not provide any information. Do not reply.
Do not click on anything that you have not, to your knowledge, signed up for ever.
Yes.
And if you're ever in doubt of where something came from, do not respond to it. Do not click on it.
Yes, and you can always independently search for that institution, the Illinois Tollway, and try to contact them yourselves. But do not click on a link, or as Ron once had someone, a scam said, where this is the IRS.
And the cops are coming for you. We're going to call, they said literally, we're calling the cops on you. Okay.
We did it. We did it! Oh my God, we did it.
Speaking of did it, that's Jason Tatum, who is an NBA champion, Chaminade graduate, member of the Boston Celtics, and he is going to be on the new version of NBA 2K25, that's awesome. To be on the cover of a video game is a pretty big deal, and athletes, they strive for something like that. It's a great recognition for something they have done well. And so Jason Tatum is going to be on 2K25. Really, really cool stuff. Guess who's coming up soon? How about Alderwoman Kara Spencer will join the show when we come back on KMOX.
It's summer, and that means a couple of things, mosquitoes and moles, both of which can ruin your lawn and ruin your backyard experience. If you're just trying to hang outside, barbecue, listen to the Cardinal game, maybe have a birthday party or an anniversary or a graduation party. Here's what you need to do. You need to call Rottler, 877-ROTTLER, or Rottler.com. They are a third-generation company, the largest family-owned pest control company in Missouri, and they have a reputation for personal service. Plus, they have the Rottler Promise, which is your money-back guarantee if Rottler is unable to take care of the problem. Back to mosquitoes. Rottler, they'll locate and treat mosquito breeding sites with a product that they have specially formulated to control mosquito larvae for weeks at a time. It reduces the mosquito population significantly around your home. Make sure you call them. Try one of their treatments before your next barbecue. And also moles. They offer a year-round warranted protection, non-invasive exterior treatments. They don't charge per mole. It's a fixed budget for the year, and you don't even have to be home for them to do the service. So call them today, 877-ROTTLER or Rottler.com.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURY law.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special, only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights. In Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m.
At 12:30, we've got some clouds. It's 83 downtown at the Arch. Better numbers are seen in the government's latest monthly look at inflation, says CBS business analyst Joe Schlesinger.
All those increases that took place during the COVID years, they're still with us. So prices overall are still 23% higher than they were 5 years ago.
We've got more on the economic situation coming up in the news at 1 o'clock. We've got a disabled vehicle on 44 going westbound before Lewis Road. That's got the right shoulder closed. They have cleared a stalled vehicle that was on 6440 going eastbound at Spady. And the exit ramp from 55 going north at Revis Barracks is closed until 5 p.m. Partly sunny with a thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. High temperature 89. Thunder shower tonight, low 70. For tomorrow, high of 90 with mostly sunny condition, but a thunderstorm in one or two spots in the afternoon. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Right now, some clouds. It's 83. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
JerryKelly.com says if you purchase a full home comfort system today, they'll install it the very next day.
That's fast.
And guaranteed. Buy a home comfort system from Jerry Kelly today, and they'll install it tomorrow, or they'll give you $500. Guaranteed.
JerryKelly.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Help if you want to sell your home as is. Help doesn't matter the condition it's in. Help if you want a simple sale with no agency fees. Claiming Group's got you covered, no contingency. House a mess, roof damage, bad taxes, that's all okay. Make sure you remember to call Claiming Real Estate.
Let us help you. ClaimingGroup.com. KLAMEN Group.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are focusing on mental health. Joining me is Dr. Jessica Vanderland, psychologist with Siteman.
We offer a number of therapy groups for Siteman patients and their families. These are all, again, focused on cancer-related distress and issues. We also provide short-term individual therapy. Again, cancer-focused.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
1-800-GOT-JUNK recycles because it conserves our natural resources.
We donate the donatables so they can be loved and used by another family.
Recycling saves us money. The less we take to the landfill, the more we save.
It also saves you money. Spending less on landfills helps keep our prices low.
People love to see a win-win scenario, but we've created a win-win-win scenario.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry.
You can too. Go to youreyedoctor.com.
For everything St. Louis Cardinals, it's Cardinals Conversations. Use the Odyssey app or hear it on your favorite podcast platform. From game analysis, player and management interviews, it's exclusive Cardinals content from KMOX Sports, where the Redbird talk never stops.
The state created the conditions that we are currently living under. Everybody has access to a gun. And when everybody has access to a gun, that makes our communities less safe and our law enforcement less safe. The city has done everything that we can do, but our hands are tied because of our lax gun laws and the preemption laws that the state has already passed to keep us from passing common sense gun safety laws at the local level.
That's Mayor Jones earlier in the week, and talking with Robert Tracy, the police chief of St. Louis as well. They were both discussing how St. Louis is moving forward in terms of crime, and they believe there is some progress that is being made. So we've heard from both of them this week. We wanted to hear from Alderwoman Kara Spencer, who represents part of the city of St. Louis, in particular downtown. And we've got her in studio with us. Alderwoman, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So you heard what Mayor Jones had to say, and that there is progress being made, but the belief is that the state has to help out and the city is doing everything it can. Do you believe right now the city is doing everything it can to help crime?
I mean, clearly it's not. I mean, for one, I heard her mention the common sense gun laws. And look, that's a very important piece here. The gun bill that I got through last summer has been widely and successful in addressing some guns, many of the guns, the visible guns in downtown. I mean, you can talk to police officers. It's been pretty effective. I mean, just over the 4th of July weekend, we had a guy on a roof with a weapon. They were able to cite that.
On top of a parking garage, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were able to use that ordinance to get the guns out of his hands. But I'll tell you, getting that gun bill passed last summer was like pulling teeth, especially with the mayor's office. So, I mean, I think it's a little bit disingenuous to say that we're trying to do everything we can. And I think, just seeing the state pull out of the Wainwright building this week with clearly no communication with the administration or the mayor's office about that decision really speaks to a breakdown in very, very necessary constructive communication between the mayor's office and the governor's.
Saw the reporting on that a couple of weeks ago. There wasn't communication, though, with the city?
Look, I'm just telling you what I read in the paper, and that it was that the administration was blindsided by that. How that could possibly be the case is beyond me, because it's my understanding that the state legislature has been contemplating this real estate deal for some years now. And if nothing else, a lobbyist that the city is paying quite a hefty annual fee to, should be aware of these things, briefing the administration, briefing the community, and working on solutions to prevent things like this from happening. I mean, the loss of those 600 jobs, the sale of the Wainwright building is a really big and devastating deal for downtown. And for the city as a whole, for the community. I mean, for the state to pull out of our region's downtown core is a big problem for all of us.
Again, going back to the statement of the mayor saying that looking at the chaos over the 4th of July weekend, which involved, people driving on the streets. We've talked about the traffic violence. Yes, guns, yes, fireworks, saying we've done everything we can. It feels very like throwing your hands in the air, like, well, this is just it. We've done everything we can. You've said, no, that's not true. You brought up the gun bill that you worked hard to get passed. What else is the city not doing that it could be doing?
I mean, number one is filling all the vacant police department positions. I mean, I've been struggling from our personnel department to get the latest roles as far as how many positions we have filled. But last I got a report, which was back in February, 30% vacancy in the police department. And that's across city departments. So, I mean, we have a budget that has funded hundreds of additional positions within the police department that aren't being funded. I mean, it was clear that, during the festivities, we had a lot of control downtown. I mean, it was very safe. My son and I were down here at the air show, by the way, this year was amazing. It was a really, really welcome return to our downtown 4th of July celebrations. But obviously afterwards, the police were outnumbered by the hundreds. We were clearly not prepared for that event. We weren't staffed properly. And, it's hard to do that when your police force is looking at a 30% vacancy rate.
So our understanding is part of the problem clearly was pay for officers, so they're going other places. The morale was low. Is any of that being improved? We know that some raises have been given to St. Louis police. Is it enough? Are they doing enough in that regard?
That's the question of the day. And I have yet to see a real comprehensive pay study for our police department. And to me, that looks like taking a look at what an introductory salary looks like in the city of St. Louis compared to the rest of the region, and on a national level as well. Taking a look at why our police officers are leaving. Clearly, the morale has not been improved. I mean, you can determine that by just stopping any officer on the street and talking to them, which, by the way, I encourage everybody to do. Thank an officer today and really just hear how their day's going. I mean, it's tough out there. The crime is impacting us all. But if you are charged with, going after these guys with guns, it's scary.
I'm having trouble reconciling some of the different narratives I'm hearing from city leaders. One, you hear the police chief say violent crime overall is down. We know the numbers show homicides are up. And you said the violence after 4th of July downtown was some of the worst you've seen, if I heard that correctly.
It's some of the worst I've seen. Absolutely. I mean, we had 5 buildings with bullet holes in it on Friday morning. I mean, that's a big deal.
So how are listeners and people in the city of St. Louis and surrounding areas, what are they supposed to make of these competing narratives?
I think people should make of it what they are experiencing. I will say that we cannot solve a problem that we're in denial about. I think the first step is to say, look, we have a problem. I think can be very, very true that we have multiple things going on at once. We can have a lot of positive momentum and a lot of great things going on in our city, which we do. And we can also have a very serious crime issue. I mean, it's not only the homicides, it's not only the gun violence, it is the reckless driving, the complete sense of lawlessness that you feel just in our downtown and in our neighborhoods, quite frankly, that people can just get away with anything. I had a woman this morning calling me distraught because some guy is just routinely stealing the plants out of her front yard.
Yeah.
I mean, and it sounds ridiculous, but my gosh, how morale crushing is it that this is the state of your neighborhood? So I think, it's clear we've got to get, more officers, but I think as well, getting creative about some of the ways in which we can work within state law. That gun bill that I did last summer was a creative, review of our state law. We could be using our city councilor's office. They're proactive right now on issuing lawsuits. Why not take a proactive approach to legislation and taking a creative look and a proactive approach to creating some policies that can work within the framework, communicating effectively with our governor, and figuring out ways in which we can all gain. I mean, the state does not win when the city is not thriving.
Before we let you go, you did say there are good things happening. What comes to mind first for you?
I mean, obviously the soccer, the soccer team, and all the sports that we have in our downtown are absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, the city garden right now, I mean, the renovations are phenomenal. I'm going to leave here and I'm going to go get lunch at the new spot down there, Burger 809. I'm really, really excited to spend some time there this summer with finally being able to eat and drink back in the park. I mean, that is the splash pad. The art down there at City Garden is really, really phenomenal. And I'm excited just in general about the bike infrastructure we're building throughout the community. Of course, I'm a big cyclist, so I tend to like to spend time outdoors. But I mean, the arch grounds, they just don't get enough play. They're absolutely stunning. And I spend at least, an hour a week down there just marveling at the fact that we have a national monument right here in our downtown.
Well, we need it. We need as much help as we can get, as much improvement as the city can get. We'll take it and be happy with it. Alderwoman Kara Spencer, thanks for coming in. Also running for mayor. We should make note of that as well.
I'll tell you, we're going to be starting our collection of signatures and door knocking. We're going to be meeting at Jack Patrick's downtown tomorrow afternoon at 4:30.
That's where all the visiting sports writers like to go for some reason. I don't know why.
Because it's a great bar. That's why. And it's in a great downtown. It's a great spot. That's why.
I like going in there. It's great.
And they have great drinks.
Kara
tomorrow
Spencer,
at 4:30. Yep.
All right, thanks.
Kara Spencer with us. When we come back, Mayor Tashara Jones joins the show after this on KMOX.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Stacy here from Fairwinds River's Edge, an award-winning independent living community in St. Charles. Voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report, we provide life-enhancing senior services to support your best self. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections in a community that feels like home. And for your first 3 months, we are offering 50% off rent. Apartments start at $39.95. Visit fairwindsriversedge.com to learn more.
Enjoy rounds of golf with friends this summer, courtesy of KMOX and Cutwater. Real cocktails perfectly mixed. Now through July 14th, head to your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or liquor store. Look for the Cutwater display and scan the QR code to get entered for a chance to win 6 rounds of golf at area courses from Walters Golf Management. You and your friends could hit the links at courses like Gateway National Golf Links, Stonewolf, Far Oaks, and more. No purchase necessary. Open to Missouri residents 21 or older. Details and rules at KMOX.com/contests.
Cardinal Cowboy here. When it comes to garage door installation, service, and repairs, Renner does that. LiftMaster openers, Renner does that. RENNER forward and back. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, the garage door company that does. Giddy up!
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Selects Premium Package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plate. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
A roller coaster ride of banter and brilliance. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Because you know what? We all own this. The criminal justice system, the community, the elected officials, the administration, the police department. We're all in this together. And we got to make sure we can find the best plans possible to make sure we can keep our community, the whole city, and also downtown safe.
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy speaking after a chaotic 4th of July weekend in the streets of downtown St. Louis. And joining us now to discuss the state of crime in downtown St. Louis is St. Louis Mayor Tishaura Jones. Mayor Jones, we thank you for your time today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Well, I think, one thing on everybody's mind is we are excited that we had Fair St. Louis and a great event, but yet again, we see the chaos breaking out on the streets after the event, whether it was gunfire or fireworks or traffic violence that continues. You did address the media afterwards and said, quote, "The city has done everything we can do, but our hands are tied because of our lax gun laws." And I do think some people are feeling is the city really done everything that it can do? Is there not more that it can do?
We are doing everything that we can do. Public safety is a team sport, and it requires not just the police, but also other members of our public safety department, our economic development efforts, as well as our Office of Violence Prevention, which has been in existence for almost 2 years now. And it also requires the community. We also have to hold ourselves accountable. We need the parents to hold themselves accountable for where their children were on the 4th of July. And I don't know about you, but as a mom, I know where my child is 24 hours a day.
So, how do you enforce that then? How do you, if the community has to get involved and parents have to get involved, what can the city do to help force that to happen? It seems like it would have to be an individual responsibility kind of thing, but is there anything the city can do about that?
Well, we're investigating some efforts through our Office of Violence Prevention. There is a youth advocacy program where we can connect children who have been in contact with the juvenile justice system. We're also looking at opening a youth assessment center. So when we do find children out after curfew, then we can bring them there and they can be reunited with their parents, but also we can see what's really going on in their lives about why this child or this young person felt it was okay to be out at midnight and why their parents either knew or didn't know. So we want to make sure that we are doing a deep dive in what's happening with the family and how we can connect them to resources and other opportunities to fix that family unit.
And I definitely know you can't purely arrest your way out of a violent crime situation. However, there is a big spectrum between, on one end, focusing solely on the police, and on the other end being where St. Louis is, well over 300 police officers short. Is it a priority for you to get those 300 plus positions filled?
It absolutely is a priority for me to get those positions filled, as well as other vacant positions within the city. We also have openings up for corrections officers, heavy equipment operators to pick up trash, also heavy equipment operators to help repave our streets. You talk to any mayor across this country, and they are experiencing the same labor shortages in all of the areas that I mentioned, in addition police.
Other than paying more, because pay is a big deal for anybody who's looking for a job, what can the city do to attract these workers?
Well, we've already seen 24 officers who left the force come back to the city, and our recruitment efforts have yielded over 124 applications that we're reviewing now for our future classes in our police academy, which is one of the best police academies in the region. But let's take a step back here. Being an officer is a very difficult and very dangerous job. And I don't blame people if they don't want to be police officers, but I applaud the people who do, who want to be police officers, and the ones who have stayed on the force and the ones who are coming back.
Yes, and that was the campaign that was sponsored by the St. Louis Police Foundation. So that was their sponsored campaign, correct? No taxpayer funds for that?
Right, but we have to have partnerships with our private and philanthropic community. This is a team sport, and it's going to take all hands on deck and everyone at the table. And I'm thankful for the Police Foundation for funding this recruitment program so we can get more officers in the door and into our academy.
My impression of what goes on downtown, and maybe the fundamental issue with it, and again, this is just from my perspective, is that there just aren't enough people here. And yes, we can have events, we can have sports, Cardinals, but there just aren't enough people and enough businesses that are downtown day to day. What can be done to attract businesses into downtown St. Louis and also people to want to live down here?
Well, we have attracted businesses and others to move downtown. The Coast Guard, for example, just announced that they're going to move from the county to St. Louis City to the riverfront. And we have been in discussions with several other companies who have decided to renew their leases to stay downtown. But also we have to remember that the nature of work is changing and more people are doing hybrid schedules and working from home. And that has had a significant impact on the amount of space that is leased in our downtown office buildings.
Going back to again, just because we know there's more the city can continue to do more. And I know when you looked at the violence over the course of the weekend, you did put the blame on the lax gun laws. But with some of the crime being committed by people not from the city of St. Louis, like people coming from Ferguson or from Belleville, I think were some of the areas over the course of the weekend to commit this crime. Isn't that also they're coming here because they know they can get away with it? Meaning there's this narrative of lawlessness in the city of St. Louis, which we see with traffic violence, right? Which has nothing to do with guns. So it's like if people can get away with driving recklessly, doing donuts in the streets, riding motorcycles, that's the narrative saying, hey, we can, they're overwhelmed in St. Louis. If we can get away with traffic violence, we can get away with other types of violence that involves guns.
I don't know what numbers you're looking at, Amy, but we are arresting people who are doing that kind of thing in St. Louis, and we are taking away guns where it is legally possible for us to take them away. If you talk to the chief about the number of guns that they seized, even that weekend, they seized almost 40 guns, 4th of July weekend, and arrested about 36 people. And we have a circuit attorney for the last year who holds people accountable when we do arrest and present cases for people to be held accountable in our criminal justice system.
I guess that was my question then. So you are going after the guns, but what I'm saying there's also other lawlessness, which is just encouraging general lawlessness involving guns or not downtown. That's where I was confused.
And we are arresting those people too. We have been able to intercept via our intelligence department people who are trying to come downtown and, like you talked about, running through the streets or drag racing or, doing donuts in the middle of our intersections. We have been able to intercept a lot of that activity, but we don't get our officers don't get the praise for it because, unfortunately, the media only wants to talk about what our police aren't doing rather than what they are doing.
Mayor Jones, Mayor Tishaura Jones, we appreciate your time today. We would love to have you come by or come on the show when we have a little bit more time and it's not toward the end. That would be great. Sure. We can get into some more topics. We would love to discuss a number of things with you if you would be willing to come and talk to us.
Sure, I'd love to.
Sounds great. Mayor Tishaura Jones, thank you for being with us today, and we will talk again soon.
All righty, take care.
That is the mayor again, so we will hopefully have her on again. There's always something going on that we can talk about, and I think that with the city of St. Louis and downtown being the heart of this region, the improvement has to continue, and it's got to be tangible. And I do think there is some movement in the right direction, but I think people are going to want to see a lot of things happen before they become confident.
And it's personal. I've had friends' businesses and homes get their windows shot out this week alone, and that's hard to hear.
Anything you missed on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it and come back tomorrow. You can listen with that app too. You can listen to us live, get the podcast, whatever you want. Chris and Amy show back with you on a Friday tomorrow, 10 o'clock on KMOX. Go ask your doctor about Flubba Blibbity Bloof.
Yeah.
Your air conditioning system has been getting a real workout this summer. If it needs a little help, you can count on Comfort